sister, you're one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.
What?
Don't so.
What?
You're so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Uh-oh. Hold on. There we go. Salute, Knicks family. Thank you for rocking with us tonight. That's just a little sample of my intro song by J Boogie. Hopefully we'll get the full video, the full song, I have the full song, but I'm waiting to do a full video professionally done. I just kind of threw that together with the last 30 seconds of the song. Shout out to J Boogie. We got a lot to talk about. The Knicks played their first preseason game last night at Madison Square Garden against 117-96. I'm joined by Stafford Don, Tsunami Speaks, Jarrell. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to get into a lot of topics from last night, including the topic of the night, should Hartenstein start? And I just want to preface it by saying I'm not saying he's better than Mitch. I'm just saying in terms of who fits best with that starting unit. But we'll get into that. We'll go around basically how you doing since we last met and your overall impressions from the Knicks game. We'll start with Stafford, and we'll go with Tsunami, and then we'll go with Jarrell. Let me see if I can get the names up and it's not covered.
Well, salute to the chat. Salute to the queen as usual. Thanks for having me. Tsunami, Jarrell, you know how it is. Let's get it in on this nice Wednesday night. You know what I mean? So from the game last night, you know, I thought it was very entertaining, I should say. We showed out on defense last night. We forced about 26 turnovers last night, so that was one of the things that I like to see. Deuce, you know, even though he might be a situational player coming in, he had 5 steals. You know, he wanted to earn some of his minutes. You know, so he showed that he could be a force on the defensive end, but he still needed some more work on the offensive end. What can I say about the big three, right? 16 points, 5 assists. You know, your boy showed who he was, you know, getting in the paint, creating for other people, you know what I mean, putting people in their place and directing where to go. That's what you call a real floor general. Right. And then you had RJ Barrett, 21 points. You know, I saw his shot was looking good from the 3-point line. So that was very impressive to see. He was making his open shots. Right. And last but not least is my boy Randle. You know, 15 points, 6 rebounds, I think it was 4 assists, and guess what? 0 turnovers.
I noticed
0 turnovers. So, you know, I mean, he was getting to his spots. You know, I mean, he was knocking down his shots, not really in the first half, but in the second half, you know, he came alive. He started doing his thing. You know what I mean? So, and then overall, the bench, what can you say? Hartenstein, Obi, Quickley, all of those guys look good. Even D Rose, as much as they say he owed, he was still doing his thing. Quick first step, finding the open guy, and Hartenstein knocking on those threes. So, I mean, the team looks good. You're looking good on the defensive end. I think that's where it starts at. We got a real floor general. Everybody played their role. You know what I mean? So I like it. But even though Detroit is a young team, I still think we still got some improvements to do. And Indiana coming up on Friday will be, you know, just another step with a better team with some more NBA experience on that side. So, you know, it's just the first game. I'm not getting too overhyped or getting too low, but yeah, I like what I seen last night.
All right. Tsunami, how you doing since we last bet, and your initial impressions of last night's game?
Uh, Salute everybody. I'm doing pretty good. It's been a interesting couple of days. A lot of highs and not too many lows. It was a fun game. Hard to follow after Staffa though. My God, you pull
I know,
all the
right?
stats out, so there's no point in me
I'm
using
mad. I'm
stats
last,
now.
yo.
Seriously, I'm
Broke
mad on
down the whole
second.
damn game. You know what I
Like,
mean?
I mean, for real. All right. Well, I'll stick to the highlights here. For me,
Mhm.
first impressions was with Jalen Brunson. I watched Jalen with Dallas and all that last year. Saw him in the preseason, the postseason when he was balling out, and I was impressed still, even having seen him with Dallas. The way he controlled the pace, the ease in which he walked into the paint is what blew me the most. Like in the first few possessions, you just saw him just like, oh, okay, I'll just go in here, no score. Like I was just blown away by that,
Right.
and again, just the ease and then the handle, the footwork, all that stuff. We've seen it, but it's different when it's on your team. And
Right.
I liked how he was just able to, direct traffic and just make it easier on the other players. I saw, even though RJ didn't get the ball in the first few possessions, that was still fine. He tried to get Mitch involved, and then he did get RJ involved later and kind of got him set. So I would just encourage really on that. And that was one of the big issues we had last year. So getting to see those first glimpses of what the team is going to look like on offense with Jalen controlling the pace and everything was just awesome. I I mean, I could go into all the other aspects of the game, but I ain't trying to do all that. All I'm gonna just say is Star J looked good.
Yes, he
He
did.
brought it. Boo was finishing around the line, around the paint and all that.
Yep. Yep.
Boo
Yep.
made his free throws.
Yep.
Boo looked ready. He's coming with those receipts. Y'all need to get ready for homie because he ain't playing with y'all today. But him, and then of course the last one. I'm not gonna go into every player. I'll just say Randall, even though he didn't look awesome to begin with, you could still tell that his decision making was a little improved. And in the second half, you really saw him get comfortable, and his scoring was in the flow of the offense. So all in all, I was very impressed by what we saw, and I was encouraged by seeing how our mid three, that's what the people on Knicks Twitter are calling it.
Mhm.
I think we played much better than mid last night. Hopefully we'll get to see more.
Jarrell, how are you?
I'm cool. Since the last time we spoke, the Giants are 3-1, so I want to just get that in there real quick. So, yeah, everything's all gravy. I'm
The two
feeling
Jets
good.
fans didn't even talk about the Jets.
Nope.
We got a W2 though. We'll throw
Yeah,
that in there.
very good W, but we're over 500.
That's
And
nice.
oh yeah. So yeah, with the game, I'm not gonna take too long because a Stafford turned into Marv Albert up there and play for everybody already.
My
I
guy Jarrell
actually
here.
I don't want to just try to gush over Jalen Brunson this whole show because I've been
Yes.
saying that Jalen Brunson was the only non-question mark that we have on this roster, and he is definitely a non-question mark. Like Jalen Brunson played like himself. I'm not going to go as far as my man Eddie C saying that he's going to be an all-star, but he might be playing at an all-star level because sometimes it's not about if you actually get on the team in order to play at an all-star level. There's a lot of guards in the East, so it's going to be very hard for him to actually make the all-star team. But I actually think from last night, from what I saw, it is possible that he is going to be playing at an all-star level,
Right.
especially after the all-star game and trying to go into the playoffs at the end of the season. I actually think Jalen Brunson might be the best player on the team.
Wow. Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how much confidence I have in him. So Hartenstein, I really, really liked him. Like you said you wasn't going to say that he was better than Mitch, but we're definitely going to have that conversation
We're
soon.
gonna have that conversation next.
You couldn't wait. Damn.
Can't wait. Even though I don't want to I usually do crap on Mitchell Robinson, but I don't have any problem with how he played last night though. Like Mitch actually played a good game. Like I saw a lot from Mitch. I saw a lot of pretty much everybody. I mean, Emmanuel Quickley.
Mhm.
I like the fact that it seemed like he slowed down his game a little bit.
Mhm.
He's not so jittery and just quick to go from one end to the other all the time. I think, yeah, I like the way he played, even though he didn't shoot the best, but just by the way that he was playing, is going to be beneficial for him to be the backup point guard for Jalen Brunson. Derrick Rose, he played well as well, but I don't expect him to play that many minutes. I hope that he is situational because I don't want him to break down at the end of the season because I would like us to be in the playoffs. And if we are in the playoffs, I want Derrick Rose to play a lot of minutes then because it's not like he's going to be rusty or anything. He's Derrick Rose. Like he can wake up, roll out of bed, and score 20 in a basketball game if he wanted to, as long as he's fresh.
In the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs. Like he was our best player the last time we made the playoffs. So, and that was him coming off the bench and he just broke down. Right. So yeah, everybody pretty much played how they were supposed to. Like, everything else remains to be seen with the young guys. Cam got hurt again, stepped on somebody's foot. He was unlucky. We get Grimes back in the walking boots, so we didn't even get a chance to see him play. Hopefully he'll be back next week. So, I'm looking forward to the season, but I'm trying not to be, too crazy because Jalen Brunson just impressed me last night.
Right.
Like he killed last night. That's all.
Yeah. No doubt about it. I'm not going to get into everything, right? I did my first morning recap show.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
And I'll be doing it every morning after the Knicks play. It was only 42 minutes. So if you have some free time, you can go check that out and get my full thoughts on the game. And be sure to check me out Saturday morning around 8 a.m. When I'll talk about the Indiana game. But I will say this. The pace, the movement, we had 31 fast break points. We rebounded okay. I think we lost the rebounding battle by 2. Mitch, I've been on Mitch about this defensive rebounding. I love his offensive rebounding. He had 4 rebounds, 3 of them were defensive. I think Mitch listened to the show. He said, I got
Yep.
He said when he set a screen, he actually put some contact on people. He got some defensive rebounds. I wasn't expecting this, but I missed the first part of the game. And when I first quarter, I looked at the game again this morning, he got the steal and went coast to coast and laid it out.
He did.
Oh my God. Then he was in the post asking for the ball. He didn't get it, but he was in the post asking for the ball. So I was super impressed with him. But let me tell you who I was really impressed with, because I give him the business. And that was Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin's defense was on point. You know, he was feisty in the post, making sure he didn't get sealed. He got a deflection. He knew where his guy was. You know, if he wasn't right there with his guy, he was in finger, like arm's length of his guy. Like he knew where his guy was. It wasn't like Obi was over here and his guy had moved over to the other side of the court. He wasn't even aware of it. His defensive IQ was on point. He stayed in there for rebounds. And I said, Obi is quick enough to stay in there for a rebound, get it, pitch it out to the wing and still get down court, and that's what he did. Usually the shot go up. It's like we only got 4 players. Where's Obi? He already down court. This time he stayed in there multiple times to secure the rebound. I was really impressed with Obi. He posted up a few times. I mean, he didn't totally seal his guy, so that may have been why they didn't pass him the ball, but he was trying to post up. He got the ball on the wing. He did a slight jab one way, put the ball on the floor, went the other way, and dunked it. Yeah. Another time he took like 1 or 2 dribbles in for the pull-up. He missed the shot, but I was just like, whoa. Like, this is what I want to see from Obi Toppin. Some offensive versatility, defense, rebounding. Obi Toppin listened to the show too. He like, she be on me all the time. Let me get myself together. I was really impressed with what I saw from, Obi Toppin. I wanted to see if Randle can play off the ball. He did. He got some catch and shoot opportunities that he made. He seemed to be okay with Jalen Brunson handling the ball. this is the thing with StreamYard. When it goes to 3,
Right.
it doesn't the frames don't automatically move. So excuse
So
us. Who was I talking about?
Randle.
Randall. Yeah. But this is with Randall. We're not going to know until there's diversity, until there's adversity.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we're going to know with Randall when things are not going well. I was happy and surprised that everybody played. I thought Thibbs would be, because he likes continuity and chemistry right from the start. I thought he was going to go right with the rotation, but he didn't. Everybody played. And what I'm hoping, and this is a hope beyond hope, is that this is signaling that when the game, at least when the game is out of reach, either we're getting blown out or we're blowing out another team and it's a few minutes left, that he'll sit the starters and then he'll let, players that don't play a lot come into the game. Like he was playing the starters in blowout games. So I'm hoping that he'll be more flexible as far as that's concerned. This is not going to happen. But I'm also hoping he would be open to spot duty, spot minutes, like for a McBride. A guard is killing us. Bring McBride in for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Now it might not be for him to be sitting on the bench all this time, and now you're gonna put him in on Dame, who's hot. But if anybody up for the challenge, it's gonna be McBride. Like he's not gonna be like, what you putting me in now? He's gonna accept the challenge. So that's what I'm hoping. With McBride, I don't think McBride is going to be in the rotation. Like Thibbs is not going 11 or 12 deep. Like that's just not happening. But during blowouts, spot duties, when players are playing well, that they can stay in the game. I hope we see at least that type of flexibility. Just baby steps. That type of flexibility. Anything else before we get into the topic of the night? And shout out to the chat. I appreciate you all rocking with us tonight.
You talked
Wednesday.
You talked about Obi's defense. I really like Cam's defense too.
Yes.
Cam actually balled out on defense. I like how he was getting into the passing lanes with his length. And Deuce McBride came off the bench and had 6 steals. So
Talk about it.
He actually showed us something. Finally, you know what I'm saying? So, he has a bright future. He's still, but to be honest, he's still going to be like in the G League for the most of the year, just like Steph said. Like, he is. And he's going to have to. I don't see him being in the rotation. And even if he was in the rotation,
right?
Even if he was in the rotation, he wouldn't be getting that many minutes, especially not with Derrick Rose sitting on the bench. I don't see Juice wouldn't never play.
Right. But he went from being what I said super situational to just maybe now situational. Like maybe if Rose get hurt, he might see minutes. Like whereas before I was like, you think about last season, we was decimated at the point guard position, and he didn't really get a lot of burn. So I'm thinking at least now, Thibbs is trusting him more. Thibbs said some nice things about him, during training camp. Now maybe if somebody get hurt, he can sniff the court. Maybe. But somebody said this morning that it's the offensive side. It's not even the defensive side. It's the offensive side as well. Let me see how I can do this. Let me bring them in real quick. All right. So let's get into the topic of the night, and we're going to continue to talk. We're going to talk about all of these players. We're going to talk about our offense. We're going to talk about our defense, but I want to talk about the topic of the night, and that is who's the better fit in the starting lineup. Now, this is not who's the better center. This is not, well, the starter is going to play like 30 minutes and whoever is backing the other player up is only going to play 8 minutes. I think that, there's going to be like Mitch will probably play 28 minutes and Hartenstein will probably play 20 minutes. But it doesn't have to be that Mitch starts to play those 28 minutes, So who do you think, looking at our starting lineup, is a better fit for the starting lineup, Hartenstein or Mitch, and why? And I don't know if we should start with Stafford because he always as Ron. Shout out to Ron from Still Nick fans say he don't leave no meat on the bone when he.
I like that. Yes.
We're gonna start with Jarrell, then we're gonna go to Tsunami, and then we're gonna go.
You got a back clean up, sir.
Right.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Between Hartenstein and Mitch, who do you think meshes the best with that starting unit? Yeah.
Well, I think naturally is Mitch, simply because he played with most of the starters already for a couple of years now.
Mhm.
And plus with Brunson, RJ, and Randle, like they're always going to have the ball in their hand. You don't really need Hartenstein to have the ball in his hand, except for when he comes off the bench with I like him paired with Quickley and Obi more than I like him paired with the starting lineup, because you don't need to give him the ball. Like Mitch is not going to. He might have asked for the ball last night in the post, but they're not gonna give him the ball in the post. Not when not on a regular basis. So just because of his defense, but I do think Hartenstein is the better player though overall. But yeah, to answer your question, for the start, it would be Mitch.
Okay. All right. Tsunami.
I'm blown away because I was not expecting you to take that turn, Jarrell, at all. So I'm going to take what I thought you were going to say.
Okay.
And say, I think it's a tougher discussion than you would think. I like the idea of Hartenstein with that lineup, with the starting lineup, just for the spacing aspect. I mean, to your point, as far as Hartenstein being a great passer and him, he can have the ball and make those passes, but I love the idea of having that spacing for Randle and RJ to drive, and Brunson to drive. I mean, I think that's an interesting lineup. You don't lose anything, or you don't lose too much on the defensive end either. The rebounding is the same, possibly better. I don't know yet. Not the offensive rebounding. We all know that, but the defensive rebounding, you might not miss too much there. I want to see more minutes with it, for sure. But to your point, yes, Mitch has more experience with them, but I think the starters would like to play with Hartenstein more. I think that would just be a seamless fit just for them. So that would be what I mean. If I don't want to be rude to Mitch, I don't want Mitch losing his starting job or whatever, but pie in the sky here, what's the better fit? I think it's Hartenstein.
Right. And keep in mind, you could still wind up playing more minutes, even though you're not starting, right? So when we say Hartenstein is better fit, doesn't mean that he will get the bulk of the minutes. Doesn't mean that Mitch won't play with the first unit, or vice versa, right? Because even if Mitch starts, I do think Hartenstein might close and get minutes with the with the first unit. Yeah, Staffer.
Wow, that's a good question, man. That's a tough question right there, because both of them have skill sets, what's very needed on the court. But to side with Tsunami a little bit, I think Hartenstein will be the better fit just because of the spacing. Able to hit that three. When last did we had even a big to hit that three besides Porzingis? So with the spacing, just like Tsunami said, that even for Brunson, Randle, and RJ to get in the space, you're not losing too much on the defensive end. You mightn't get that a lot of blocks, but you're gonna still get defensive intensity with him. He's gonna bring energy. So as a fit, I would say yes. But to Gerald's point, the continuity, and they've been playing together for a long time, and he knows where to go, and he knows Thibbs' philosophy in defense. Yeah. But fit, yeah, I have to go with Hartenstein.
Jarrell, I think this is your fault by you starting it and doing the reverse of what we expected. I think you made myself and Staffa agree on Hartenstein, and I'm cracking up. There's a comment in the chat that has me weak, by the way.
I'm just saying,
King
like, the
Poppy said,
question.
"What Staffa agreed with Tsunami? I must be high." King
I'm just
Poppy,
saying
I'm
'cause
wondering if I am because this is wild. Go ahead.
I mean, I answered it that way just because of how the question is worded. Like, the
Fair.
question is who's the better fit, not who's the better player. Now, we
Right.
want to talk about who is the better player and actually go through, compartmentalize what they actually do on the court, then that is a completely different story. Like, I'm picking Hartenstein all day, but yeah, that's not the question. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I like Hartenstein too because of the space. And listen, both will work.
mhm.
Both would work. I actually like Mitch in the second unit because you got Derrick Rose, you got Quickley, you got Grimes or Cam, you got Obi. You just need somebody that's going to defend, block shots, rebound, pitch it out to them guys, and let them do what they do. We don't even need any more offense in that second unit. But for the first unit, to me, it's just more about the spacing. Tsunami and Stafford brought this up. Randle plays best below the 3-point line. RJ plays best below the 3-point line. Not that these guys can't hit a three. Brunson plays best below the 3-point line. Again, not that he can't hit a three. Having Hartenstein just gives you a little more space. And, he's not as mobile as Mitch, right? But you're going to still get the rebounding. Defensive rebounding. He had 2 shot blocks, 2 block shots, I should say, last night. So you'll get some, some rim protection. But what he gives us offensively, if we do, like if RJ is driving to the basket, if Randle is driving to the basket, if Brunson is driving to the basket, you're not pitching it out to Mitch. I mean, you might, but you better run over there and get it right back from him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas if you pitch it out to Hartenstein, he could either take a shot or make another pass.
Yep.
To somebody that's open. Like his vision, his ability to see people and make those plays. So again, I still think Mitch would get the bulk of the minutes. But that first team plays what? Like the first. Did they play the entire first quarter, or they play like the first 6 minutes in the first quarter? And then
it was pretty early when they started, when Cam and I'm sorry, I just remember Cam coming in.
Right,
Cam
right,
and IQ,
exactly.
I think.
The only one on
IQ.
came in. Who else? We don't know.
IQ.
I was like, Cam.
Right.
I was
Right.
working, so y'all have to.
Right. So around again, it's gonna mix. It's
And
gonna
Obi.
mix and match anyway.
And Obi, yeah.
The first 6 minutes, yeah, appreciate you, Kerry Cox. That's what I believe. So the first 6 minutes, then Mitch comes in. He'll get some time with some of the first team and some time, with the second team as well. I agree with Kerry Cox as well that Mitch plays, faster. He is a bit more mobile, as well. But yeah, I that offense would be rocking. And like Tsunami said, I'm not sure we're giving up that much on the defensive end. I'm interested in what the chat says. Who do you think is the better fit? Not that he will get the most minutes, but who do you think is the better fit with that starting lineup? Mitch or Hartenstein? I should have put up a poll, but anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
Staffer?
Yeah.
I thought somebody wanted to say.
No, I'm good.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about Hartenstein last night and Mitch last night. Just a little more. That pass Rose made to Hartenstein was just wicked,
Wasn't it?
Right in the bread basket with some zip. It wasn't even like it died on its way there. You know what I mean? It's like,
no, he wasn't throwing any dead ducks in the
Yeah.
Tell me, buddy. If Rose looked good doing that, man, see how quick his step was?
He was
Sim,
under the
as you
basket when he made that pass to the 3-point line.
Mhm.
Yep. Rose look good.
You know, and Hartenstein, you know, put the shot up. You know, as
Right.
opposed to swinging it to the next person. Not to take anything away from Mitch. Everybody has to be a star in their role. If they can do
Exactly.
that,
Right.
Knicks is going to be a really good team. But I just like that Hartenstein hit 2 threes.
Right.
He was aggressive. Like I loved what we saw from him. Like he blew me away in so many ways. I liked his passing. I liked him. He was directing traffic, on offense. I was like, oh, we do that? Is this
Mm-hmm.
what we do? Like I heard it, but to do it in the preseason, start early, you could
Right.
see his comfort level with
Mhm.
the second team, and it was just kind of refreshing to see it. He rebounded pretty well, and I
Mhm.
thought that I had heard that he wasn't necessarily a plus defender. He
Mhm.
looked like a plus defender to me last night.
Right.
I
I
won't
like how
say he wasn't high level defender, but he was very competent.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Jarrell.
I was just gonna say I like how he was fighting on the rebound for the rebounds.
Yeah,
Like he was
exactly.
really, really active in the paint. And speaking of the two centers, what's up with Sims?
Yeah, he's been injured.
think
for
some
a
was
bit,
He's
too.
injured.
He's
Because I didn't even see him. Like he didn't play
I
at
didn't
all.
see him
Like
on the bench either.
yeah.
right, I didn't see him on the bench either. So I was wondering what was up with him. Like I haven't heard anything. I didn't know he was hurt.
Yeah.
What did he hurt?
I heard on Twitter
I
something
think it's his
about
groin.
he had an injury.
I think it's his
Oh,
groin. I think it's his groin.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
bad injury.
I think it's
Okay.
his groin.
yes, what Greg said. He was diving for balls. He was active. All the loose balls, they belonged to him.
right. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, Paris Duggar. Okay, Mitch destroyed Ivy in the first 3 minutes of the game. All right. I mean, we're not taking anything away from Mitchell Robinson. We're not saying that Mitchell Robinson shouldn't play on the team or that he should get less
Right.
minutes. Hartenstein. We're just talking about who's the better fit with that first unit. Shout out to who's Mark start Hartenstein with 26 wins. So like
Right,
he's
right.
real serious,
Right.
and that he believes that Mitch can come off the bench because Hartenstein does more on the court, and I don't think there's
That's a fact.
big drop off. Now, what I want to see is when we play in these stretch fives, like we're gonna play tomorrow in Indiana.
Mhm.
Is gonna put Randle on Miles Turner. Is Mitch gonna play Miles Turner? Mitch was really good out on the perimeter his rookie year. Since then, he's been okay. He hasn't been great. He's been okay. I don't think Hartenstein is gonna be.
Quinn, we got a troll. We got a troll in the chat. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah. I am trying to. Did I get? I think I got it.
I surely do not see anything, so I'm hoping you did, or unless
That
that
you
means
got
I'm
him
not
on.
behind.
Yeah, I think I got him. I'm gonna Hart is better. He can put it on the floor, pass and shoot. That's something that we didn't talk about with Hartenstein when he put the ball on the floor.
Yep.
That's true.
Foul
That too.
line and drove to the basket and laid it in. I would like to see him with. I think that starting unit would be extremely dynamic with Hartenstein. Starting, but I'm not hearing much from the chat. From
The
his
chat,
side.
the
It's
chat
like
does love Mitch though, and I get that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of an allegiance to him since we've had him since he was a pup, And I don't want to poo-poo his performance last night because it was very good defensively. I was impressed by not just the block shots, but the shots that he didn't block but altered. And we need to give him credit for that for sure. He came out very aggressive for Mitch, and I'm, I could tell that his focus will be defense this year, and that's encouraging too.
for Mitch.
Yeah, for Mitch.
Yeah. I mean, I just think,
Go ahead.
Mitch is going to give us that toughness down low. He's going to cover up mistakes, right? Coming from the blind side, blocking shots, creating deflections. His defensive rebounding, at least yesterday, was pretty good. So that's what you're going to get from Mitch. But to have a center where you can get a jump shot, to have a center that can put the ball on the floor, to have a center that can pass the ball that has vision, that also can rebound and maybe block shot. Now, he is not as good an offensive rebounder as Mitchell
It's
Robinson.
Mitch.
Because
In terms
nobody
of
is.
giving
Right?
us second chance points. I don't.
That's by design, though. Like if he's out in the 3-point line, by the 3-point line, he's not going to get offensive rebounds. Mitch don't do nothing. So he gets to stand right there at the basket every time we're on offense.
Right.
That's all he do.
I was waiting for it to come out. I don't know
I'm
what
just
took you
saying.
so long.
It's the same. It's the truth.
I don't know
I was
what
just
took you
saying.
so long.
I was just saying.
Stop and said,
It's,
I was thinking it, but I
it's-
ain't say it.
You think he's not strong in the paint?
Oh, he looked strong last night.
I don't know.
Hey,
I
he's
don't
fine.
know about that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We played Detroit. Like, it's not like we played a playoff team.
That's
So,
true.
we're going to gauge these players again as,
No,
as the season goes on. But, yeah, we just talk about
No, but
how he did
Gerald-
last night.
No, but in past games against other centers, you don't think that's more of a sample size than just this preseason game?
You talk about for Hartenstein playing with us or Mitch?
No, I'm talking about Mitch as far as him being strong in the paint.
No, I think both of them are strong in the paint. Somebody said Hartenstein wasn't, I think.
Oh, Hartenstein. Okay.
Yeah, somebody said
that's what
Hartenstein wasn't.
Comment said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they both were. I thought they both played their games pretty well last night. Like, I don't really have anything negative to say about Mitch. Like, we already know what Mitch can do, but for what the stuff that he can do, he did it well last night.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch said that we're going to see the 15-footer this season. Mitch was in the post. He didn't get the ball, but he was in the post asking for the ball. The footwork and balance to steal the ball and go coast to coast and lay it up with somebody that was right there, like that was impressive. But having skill at the I'm just intrigued by that. I'm just intrigued by having a skilled center. Yeah, that's
He
true.
reminds me a little of almost like a taller David Lee, but I don't know if that's too high of the praise. It's just I'll say he reminds me. He is not his clone.
Yeah, David Lee was a lot more athletic, though.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
But I get it, though. I understand, like, the type of game that he plays.
Yes,
like,
yes.
He can go inside and out. I understand that.
And the passing ability, because David Lee was a really good passer, too.
Yeah, he was. Shout out to Sim. Appreciate you. Nothing but Knicks, where I got my start. And I'm still a part. I think Mitch's advantage over Hart is his speed and length. He can cover up for his and others' mistake. He definitely can, but is that enough of a trade-off, for the other stuff that he brings? But I agree with you. Like, his ability to come on from the weak side when you think the person has a layup. Mitch is just out of nowhere. Boom, he's there blocking the shot. But there's another question for Sim, and I'll ask this to the panel and to the chat if they want to answer it. Do you hold any stake in the fact Mitch played 17 minutes last night to Hart's 27?
So personally, I don't hold any stake in that.
Yeah.
Specifically because the game got out of hand pretty quickly in the third quarter, and our starters didn't see much time after that. So that was kind of what I took away from it. I think he also knowing how, I don't want to call him injury prone because it's harsh, but how bruised and battered Mitch can get. So I think he was also taking that into account. Like, there's no need for me to put him back in here. Let's see what iHeart has, That's my opinion.
It's a no for me. I think Mitch actually played the same amount of minutes Randle and Fournier played too. Like, I think that was just a rotation thing. Like, Deuce played over 20 minutes last night. Like, that's not going to happen in the regular season. Yeah, I think it was just because it was the first preseason game. Because I think Randle only played like 18 or 17 minutes. And I think Fournier didn't play that much either. So, like, Cam got hurt. He probably would have played a lot more minutes, but he got hurt because they want to see some stuff. But yeah, I think Hartenstein, Cam, Deuce, I think they were going to get all, a big bulk of the minutes last night.
Yeah, I just felt they wanted to see him. They kind of know who Mitch is and what Mitch brings. I just felt like they wanted to see him with different lineups. And that may be why he got most of the minutes. And the second thing is, is Mitch is in shape, but he looked a little tired there. No, I saw him put his hands on his shorts or whatever. He seemed like he was a little tired as well. But no, I don't put a lot into it. I just think they just wanted to see him with different lineups.
All right.
Which is something Thibbs doesn't normally do. So this is something new in the development of the beard.
Right. We didn't actually talk about Thibbs and his adjustments. Like, Thibbs actually did some different stuff last night. Like, we didn't look the same. That's what I was waiting for. Yeah,
definitely. Shout out to David L. I like for when we move on from Mitch. Not to start to keep value. We gave him his bag. His defense is better for the starters. JB and Evan need rim protectors. I don't think Hartenstein is a bad rim protector, but you bring up a good point. I do think Mitch is a better rim protector, even though the advanced stats will say that per minute, Hartenstein is a better per minute played. He's a better shot blocker. But JB and Evan do need
rim protection.
From rim protection. Though for Brunson, he's not a sieve. You can shoot over him. You can shoot over him, but you're not gonna shoot through him. You ain't gonna just go through him to the basket.
Yeah. To your point, I would call him a competent defender, not a plus defender, but competent. He held his own last night, and I mean, he kind of reminded me, how Kemba used to, go for draw those offensive fouls. He did the same thing to Cade Cunningham. So something else I was impressed with this dude, with Brunson. Brunson pulled out all the tricks yesterday.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a good shot blocker to be a good rim protector. That is correct.
That's true.
That is correct. You're right. Just coming over and being there to contest shots and alter shots and things like that. So you're absolutely right. But he is a good shot blocker as well. I think he averaged 1.2 shot blocks last season. Mitch averaged 1.8. So I just think it just depends on what you need. I think from a defensive perspective, Mitch probably has an edge, but Hartenstein is not a slouch. But from the offensive part, it's not even
close.
Not at all.
Not the young MC Light. Now I like that.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite one I've ever seen. Yes, her. I know her.
Right. Shout out to Jay Boogie. Shout out to
Light as a rock.
Greatest people in the world. Salute First Lady, the Lauryn Hill of the podcast. Appreciate you. The bowling chick, aka the young MC Light, with Shotters, Rude Boy Don, and the young Jim Brown. All right.
Salute J Book, yo.
Rude Boy Don. I like that.
Appreciate you.
Too.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for my intro song, the full version. The full version with the video will be coming soon, but I did use a small part of it as the intro. I just threw some video up on it, but
it looked good.
When the full version comes out, you will see. Paris Duggar is not high. Let's just put it that way. He is not high on Hartenstein, right? I mean, is that we can sum it up that way, right?
Right.
Mitch is a defensive player of the year candidate if the Knicks play well. No, he's a defensive player of the year candidate if
If
he
he
plays.
plays well, he has to play well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the defensive, team, with his stats. This Harris. Okay, I thought that was hard. Okay, all right.
I wasn't too.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I said I wasn't too impressed with the Harris kid.
No,
I wasn't.
I wasn't too impressed with him. I think in a way, he was kind of ball hoggy. Like he didn't want to give up the rock. And at one time, I think he and was it Quickley, and he just had to pass the ball, and he wouldn't look like that Quickley. Like it was your fault. Nah, bro, pass the ball. You just hogging the ball. Come on, man. I wasn't too. Even though he came from nowhere. Yeah, but it can't be hogging the ball, man. That's not how you play ball.
That's true.
You can't be doing that. You know what I mean? You wait until the flow of the game, let the game come to you, and then after you make an impression like that. But you trying to run the point and hog the ball, and
and he played a lot too.
That's
like
because
he played just as much
injury,
as some
I
of the starters
guarantee
did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
I literally think it's because of Cam's injury, because I don't think we would have seen that cat so much. I wanted Ferran Hunt to come in. I'm like, okay, I've seen enough, Mr. Harris. Let's see what Ferran has with the team.
Right. Yeah. I really like Hunt. Anything else before we move on from the Hartenstein Mitch conversation? I do want to put this up for Paris Duggar. My last comment on this. But if anybody else wants to comment, you can. Hartenstein isn't getting any shots with Randle, Brunson, RJ, and Fournier. What is wrong with that? It's not about the shots.
Right.
It's about the spacing. It's about the fact that the defense has to respect him. And that opens up, clearer passing lanes for, RJ to get to the basket, for JB to get to the basket, for Randle to get to the basket. He's also a better passer. Right. So if you give him the ball, I don't know, a free throw extended or wherever you can cut off of him and he'll be able to pass the ball to you, to the other players. So it just makes the offense a bit more dynamic, less predictable, and you're not losing much, in my opinion, rebounding wise. You're not losing a lot in terms of rim protection, though. I would say that Mitch is better. But it's not about him scoring a lot. It's about what his presence does for the offense. Anything else about Hartenstein, Mitch before before we move on and talk about Quickley next? I'm gonna talk about Quickley next.
Okay, now I'm good.
I think we hit all the high points. I'm just excited we get to have this duo going forward. And hopefully Jericho gets healthy and we get to see him a little bit in the preseason. But even if we don't, we've got a nice pair of centers right now. And that's something we haven't. We thought we had it last year with Nerlens, but Nerlens just, the injury bug took him out for the rest of the season. So now
Sir
we kind of.
Butterfingers.
I'm about to say, you thought we had a good duo.
I'm trying to be nice, sir. This is preseason. I'm happy. You come in with this negativity.
Nerlens Noel got hands like feet. I would never say he's a good basketball player. Absolutely not. No.
On the defensive end, at least. But I feel you. Hands like feet, I've never heard.
Right. Well, listen, the point guard position and the center position is solidified for the Knicks. Yes. I don't remember the last time that we could say that about both positions on the same team, right? But let's talk about quickly your impressions on Quick last night.
Quick was dope, man. He showed off his strength. Going to the basket, got in about a couple and ones. But I still think he needed to finish more better at the rim. Even though he went in there, he still had a couple shots I think that was easy enough he could have made. and had more extra and ones. But at the same time, his shot looked good. His ball handling looked tight. He was directing traffic. Things that I see him prove in the summer league that he was doing in the ball game. So that was good. Otherwise, I don't think he's taking that like wild shots like how I think somebody said in the chat just now. Like I think showing them. I don't think I think the game has slowed down for him, and he's not really rushing his shots. He's really taking his time and know when to shoot. So that's another improvement I see with Quickley. But otherwise, coming into his his third year? Yeah, man. I mean, what else? What else can you ask for in a third year player? You know what I mean? It's like your sophomore year in high school, not your sophomore year, junior year in high school. So, he's coming along.
I'll say that I was really thrilled with watching him on the defensive end. We knew that he can defend. We saw a little bit more of it, honestly, in spurts more his rookie year. Sophomore year, I think he took maybe because of the slump that he went through. There were a few games where he kind of fell off on the defensive end. But yesterday, his commitment on the defensive end was like one of my favorite things. The only thing I will say is he was very aggressive in the passing lanes. He was successful the majority of the time, but there were a couple where he was being way too aggressive and dude got by him because he went too hard trying to swipe the ball. But we saw, to me, he just picked up where he was, the way he ended the season last year. His passing was still good. He was a little trigger happy, but I'll say that even though we saw that in the third quarter, like once the starters went out, there was a bit of a lull. So I feel like Quick was like, all right, my turn, and started shooting a bit more at that time. So I wasn't really angry about it since the offense did get stagnant. But I was pleased with what we saw from Quickley. I mean, I love that defensive intensity from him. So that means that we're going to be seeing that in the regular season, next to Rose. That'll be dope. And hopefully he continues to work on that, on his shot selection, like to Stafa's point. I don't think it was too bad. We didn't see any wild threes. So I'm optimistic.
Okay.
As always, right?
Hey, I'm wrong with that.
I think
As long as when you see otherwise, you're not still like, we gonna go to the championship.
Oh no.
See, you're not gonna hear me. Even if I feel like we are, you won't hear that. I need to see that first. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I don't really have that much to say about Quick because I don't really think he showed me anything new that I think he couldn't do. Like he got stronger, like it was already mentioned. He plays defense, but I already thought he was a good defender last year. And even in his rookie year, like towards the end of the season, like he was getting better at least. But last year he was a good defender, and I think he's going to be even better this year because of his strength. Now he gained a little weight. In terms of his shot selection and the way he passed the ball and stuff like that, to be honest, it didn't really seem like it was much of an improvement. The way he, I don't know, just by how he goes about the offense, because he does still over dribble a little bit. No wild shots last night. Maybe that's what changed a little bit. But other than that, yeah, IQ pretty much looked the same.
Okay, let's see what the chat has to say. Shy Powers. I'm not sure what that I don't know what that means. Well, okay. Mark IQ. Right. Dribbles the words off the ball sometimes. Okay.
All
right. Sharon quickly slows down the ball movement. He looks for his own shot for the first 15 seconds of the shot clock. Okay. Jeffrey Clafter, I hope I said that right. IQ get into the cup.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did. His left hand.
Right. And this is where you can see his strength.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Ability to absorb the contact and still finish at the rim. Il Matrix IQ was IQ, so similar to what I was saying. It hasn't really seen much difference. JJ, he got to stop over dribbling. Okay. Who's Mark? He needs to stop over dribbling.
Damn.
And Manchild Quickley played well last night, but he kind of resorted to his old habits a couple of times.
I think that's fair.
Quickley is definitely stronger. You can see that for sure.
Yep.
And Sharice Duncan, appreciate you rocking with us. Wasn't impressed with IQ's game last night.
The 3 steals didn't do nothing for y'all. Damn.
Not when Deuce gets 6, like it kind of overshadows.
That's true.
When
That's
the person
true.
that is a better defender than you comes in after you and actually gets more steals than
Balls
you.
out.
So
You're
right.
You got me there.
IQ's Bayside Junior, IQ settled down, but he needs better shot selection. Missed 2 free throws. I need IQ to play off ball more. I hope it's just because Rose only played 6 minutes, but I would have IQ running around like Rip.
I agree with that.
Brings
I
up a good question.
I definitely agree with that.
Do you think Quickley is better with the ball in his hands, or do you think he's better with somebody else setting him up? I think he can do both, but where do you think he's better? And that's the same for the chat.
That's a good question.
That's a real good question.
I like him playing with Rose. So in those situations, I mean, they kind of swap. So Rose will have the ball, and then an IQ will have the ball. So it's kind of hard for me to say that. But I think from the shot selection point of view, you might be a little bit better as a secondary ball handler in those situations, just because Rose can get you a good shot because Rose is Rose. So that's a tough question.
That is definitely
I have to think on that.
A tough question. And you make a good point about the shot selection, right? When you have the ball, you can shoot it whenever, good shot, bad shot.
Exactly.
But when someone passes you the ball, usually, not all the time, you're in a position to shoot it, and it kind of takes the decision, out of his hands. Mark believes that IQ not playing off the ball, that ain't happening. He needs the ball to cook. Nothing but Nick Sim. IQ needs to play with Rose always.
Damn.
I think Rose helps keep the ball moving when IQ is on the floor. Yeah, the over dribbling and the thing about IQ, he's not selfish. I do hear some people in the chat say he's selfish. I don't think he's selfish. His assist to turnover ratio is 2.8 to 1, 32 in the league. He's a willing passer, but he just believes he can make every shot. He's just confident. Right. He just believes he can make every shot.
Right.
And he's not going to hesitate to do that. And sometimes I just feel like that's the time when we need to move the ball around and let it come back to you. Right. And then you do what you need to do. But just because you have the ball in your hands coming down doesn't mean you always have to take the shot.
I think we should do like a little bit of both with him. Because to be honest, ever since even when he was in college at Kentucky, he did both there. Yeah. He did both when he first got into the league here too. Right. And then Rose came and then they put him off ball more, like Sim said. So yeah, I think he could do both. Which is better, probably with the ball in his hand, just because he's so used to it. Mm-hmm. But he could play off ball too. It could be either or. I think it just depends on who's on the floor with him.
Right. Do you think he's going to have a breakout year, or do you feel like he's going to be the same Quickley we've seen so far?
I mean,
I think he's going to be
never mind.
I think he's going to be the same Quickley, because it's how many minutes just go if he to go around. We already got 3. What? IQ, him, Brunson, Rose. That's 4 point guard. What's 4 point guards right there? That's deep right there. So I mean, if it's a breakout season, it might be a little high in 3-point attempts, probably, or his percentage go up in 3. But I think it's gonna be the same old Quickley. You know what I mean? It's, just more body control, more understanding the game, more feel, much more maturity. You know what I mean? In that type of sense. So I don't think he's gonna have a breakout. Yeah, I think he's gonna be the same.
Yeah, I think David agrees with you. A little better defense, but the same offensively. Anybody else?
I don't think he's going to have enough of an opportunity to have a breakout year just because
Right.
we're going to
That's
use
what I was
Derrick
gonna
Rose a ton. That's what, that's the problem. Well, not even the problem. It's just what's going to make it difficult in him having a breakout year. And the way that they've been talking in the interviews, even hearing Rose talk about it, he's coming back for blood too. He's out for blood. I didn't know Derek was that mad that he was out for so many games last year. I think he took it personally that we didn't make the playoffs. I think he blames himself. So he's out there. He lost all the, not that he was fat or anything, but he lost some weight and he wants to play big minutes. And there's just not going to be those minutes for IQ like that. You can't get
to take the
25
next
minutes.
step.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. No.
I agree that he's an and one machine though too.
Yeah. A player with IQ skill set is needed on every team.
Sure.
Yes, but this is the thing though. They can shoot you in and they can shoot you out.
Yep.
And I guess it's up to the coach to just kind of decide that he's shooting us out. And we was talking about this earlier. We're not gonna allow him to go 2 for 18 like John Starks did, right? And we're gonna take him out. We're gonna sit him down. And Sim, who said, you don't really want to take the ball out of his hands. You just want to make sure you have him in the game with somebody like a Rose or a Brunson who can kind of settle the
tempo.
Yeah. Set the tempo, settle the team down, have the ball in their hands in those in those critical moments. We covered a lot today. Let's talk about Randle. We'll talk a little bit about IQ. We talked about IQ, I'm sorry. We talked about Robinson, we talked about Hartenstein. Let's do Rand. Did we talk about Brunson or we just did that in our opening statements?
We did in our openings more.
Opening statements, kind of.
We all had our idea of who he would be on the Knicks. Having seen him in the first preseason game, did that meet your expectations, exceed your expectations, or it's just one preseason game? I'm gonna need to see more from Brunson.
It exceeded mine. Even with me having watched him last year, it's still different once you see it on this team, and how he's meshing with the other players. So, I mean, like I said, he was better on defense than I expected. He took command immediately. He was able to settle Randle and RJ and all that stuff. Not that they're going to go crazy or anything, but I just like the calm that he brought. I liked the ease of which he scored, like I said earlier. I think he only had 4 assists, but it felt like he did so much more than that.
Right.
I kept looking back like this can't possibly be right. But, maybe he had some hockey assists in there or whatever. Or, our guys do like ISO. So, some we might have moved, after receiving the pass or whatever. But I loved what I saw from him. And I'm encouraged for the rest of the year to see what he's able to do. I mean, I think he's just tipping, just on the, the tip of the iceberg, whatever that phrase is. I tried to say it earlier and I still can't say it right. Like what? Scratching the surface, that one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Or the tip, or you just saw the tip of the iceberg. Either one will work.
Okay.
Jarrell?
Yeah, I'm trying to chill. I've been saying that we've been needing Jalen Brunson even before we got him. Like, he played like I thought he was going to play. He's Jalen Brunson. He plays the same way. He's always played like that. He's a baller. And I think he's going to be the next, great point guard for the New York Knicks. Like, I don't know how many championships we're going to win or anything like that, but I don't think he's like the number one option. He's not Allen Iverson, but he's a leader. He's going to take us further than when we were before. And plus, like, the way our offense played, like, we look like how we were supposed to look. Like, if Kemba was good.
Yeah.
That's what it was supposed to look like last year. But Kemba is just Kemba, like he's at the end of his rope. So, but Jalen Brunson, he can play. He can ball, man. He's nice.
Yeah. Now, do you take anything away from how he looked, or for that matter, how any of our players looked because we were playing Detroit?
Oh nah, you still got to play basketball. Like if we would have looked terrible, we've been in here talking about how terrible they look. So it's the same way. Like
That's right.
if they play well, we say good things about them. If they play bad, we say bad things about them. That's just how it's gonna go. At least for me.
Right.
I mean, I didn't say that we're gonna go to the championship based off of his play. So I feel like I think our expectations are right where they need to be there. I'm excited to see what he does with the rest of the preseason games that we have, but I doubt he's going to like come down from the top of the earth or whatever, if you Mount Everest or anything like that, because to me that was just him playing his game. It didn't look like it was anything he doesn't regularly do.
And we look good.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, yeah, we look good. Like I liked it, the way we look. I like the way our offense looked with him. Like we're not going to look like we did when Alec Burks was point guard. Let's just say
Yes,
that.
sir.
Like it looked like night and day. Like it looked like a completely different offense just because of one person. That's how much of an impact that he is. Like it's not like he moves the needle in terms of us winning like a championship, but he's a very, very nice piece in order for us to move forward. That's all.
Yeah. I
wholeheartedly
mean,
agree.
he didn't exceed my expectations. He I knew who he was, and that's what he was when he came here. What I was impressed with, and again, Mark, it was just Detroit, but he looked like he's been here for a while.
Yeah.
He didn't. They didn't look like, well, they have to play together. You could tell they're not meshing that well. He looked like he's been here, for a season or two, actually, and I think that bodes well with us.
Didn't he hit his first shot? Like he hit his first shot in the Garden, right?
What happened?
Like
First
he
shot?
hit he hit his first shot. Like you could tell he was comfortable there. Like it's like at home for him. He hit the very first shot that he shot in the Garden. So that's like a nice little omen. I like that.
Right. Sim said, I don't know if you trolling Sim. Can he play defense like AB?
That's why I was weak.
That
I was
ball
like,
pressure.
oh
You know what I'm saying? That full court ball pressure.
Yep, that ball pressure.
He was like, what, number top 10 in the league in ball pressure, perimeter
He was
defense.
nice.
Yeah, I was impressed with JB, man. Look, he went against some of the top ballers in the Western Conference, the Chris Pauls and the Devin Bookers and the Donovan Mitchells. You know what I mean? And he played alongside another great player. So as Queen said, we know who he was. And to Gerald's point, is just to see him on this team do it. And it looked very impressive. It's just another piece, moving, stepping forward. So, as Gerald said, another great point guard to put on the Knicks jersey, So hopefully we could move further with him and see what this team could do.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those guys that you can't look at his height. You can't look at his body type. You can't judge him on any of that, his speed. And I think if you do, then you see him as a role player, right? If that's what you're looking at, then you're like, who is this guy?
Right.
But he's somebody that stirs the drink, in my opinion. He's that person that makes everybody better and can hit shots himself. And to Jarrell's point, who said in the beginning, it remains to be seen who's going to close games, right? Because the bottom line, if we're talking about getting into the playoffs, some of us say 5th seed, some of us say 6 seeds. When you get into those close games, what separates a lot of teams is them having that guy that they could pass the ball to, and everybody knows this guy is going to take the shot. They may even know where he's going to take the shot. And he hit it anyway. Having that guy, like when a team is pushing to get back into the lead or extend their lead, all you got to do is give it to that guy. He just shoot, boom, and gets the team back in the game. It remains to be seen who that's going to be for us, or if we're going to even have one person. It might even be by committee. But if you ask me to put money on who I think would be our closer, I would say Brunson.
Yep.
because he's been in tough situations, playoff situations where he's had to perform, and he can get into the lane, and as small and unathletic as he is, he can get a shot off. So he's the guy that I think is gonna be our closer, but we shall see. We shall see. That's who I would put my money on. Anything else about Brunson before we move to RJ, and then we'll talk a little bit about Randle? Nah, I don't think so. Keith Turner, McBride is cracking this rotation. He's going to force Thibbs to play him. But that being said, I don't think so.
Shot minutes at best.
But if there was any slight chance, he gained some trust, with how he played, and I'm sure Thibbs will say that he wasn't surprised with his performance. That's something that he's been doing. Yeah,
I was about to say, I think it needs to be like an injury.
Right.
God forbid, I don't want anybody to get injured, but I think in order for a Deuce to get minutes, I think somebody will have to get injured. IQ or Rose or Grimes, or like somebody will have to, not be able to play.
Right. But at least he's in a conversation. Look how many how many injuries we had last season. He's still
right. Exactly.
Right. At least now I think he's, he would be in the conversation. Yeah. Let's talk about RJ. RJ Barrett, again, one preseason game, right? We're gonna see more.
She's psyched. Look,
I know. She had the nerve to say "my baby" on video.
Said it like twice.
Today, you just see him.
One preseason game, and this is for everybody that we talk about tonight, right? One preseason game, but very efficient. Played off the ball, played on the ball in terms of driving to the basket, finishing at the hoop, but also played off the ball, right? Brunson hit him a few times for a catch and shoot three. He was able to do that, went to the line twice, made both of his, free throw shots. What did you see from RJ Barrett, and were you encouraged by what you saw?
I'm about to say you should go last.
Yeah, you ain't gonna leave no meat on the bone.
I already spoke about him earlier, but it's cool. I can speak about him.
I'll be real quick. RJ looked like he was the man last night. Like, he was decisive with the ball. As soon as he got the ball, he knew what he was going to do with it. That's all I really need from RJ on offense. If we're going to talk about defense, he looked the same, to be honest. Like, not the best defender in the world, not the worst. Like, he looks like an average defender to me. But on offense, like, as long as he's decisive with the ball, I think RJ will be fine.
I gotta agree with Jarrell too, man. He was real decisive with the ball. He hit his open shots. I was impressed that he made most of his threes. That's what we need from him this year. Like 2 years ago, where he was shooting at, I think it was 40% from the three. So, if he could keep that in his repertoire, it's going to only open up more of his game. And look, we need him to be that guy, and he looks like he was that guy last night, leading the team and scoring and, and doing what he got to do. So shout out to RJ. We just, as I say, it was one preseason game. I want to get too high, as I said, earlier, but it's just one preseason game, and we got another experienced team coming up on Friday. So, we got more to see.
Right. I think I'm gonna read the chats. Whenever I bring them up, it kind of it throws off our nice little set we have right here. But who's Mark?
Throw me off.
Right. Says 45, 37, 75. I believe that's the percentages that he would like from RJ Barrett. 45% from the field, 37% from three, 75% from the free throw line. All doable.
If he do that, sure. He a 20-point scorer if he does that easily.
Easy.
If he does that.
Easy.
Definitely. Sherwin says RJ is still a straight line dribbler. He didn't work on his handle enough. He will still get his shots blocked. No deception in his handle. Listen, Listen,
What? It's
I don't know if
nothing
you
positive
remember.
can
I
come out
respect
that, brother.
I said
Nothing
you saw
positive.
that. You saw that from last night.
Right. I don't know if you, if I don't know who watched women's basketball, but Cheryl Swoops, one of the best basketball players to ever play the game,
Nasty.
did not have a great handle at all. But she was so quick, you couldn't even catch her anyway to get in front of her to make her have to put it in the next hand, to change her. And the same thing with, with RJ. I think his handle has improved some, but I don't really see RJ as that person that's going to be out there with the ball, rocking you to one side, dribble quick little dribbles to see where he can get the advantage before taking off. I don't really see him as that. But with his strength, you're still not going to be able to stop him.
Nope.
He's still going to be able to get to the basket. You're not going to be able to stop him. But I agree with you. I don't really see him as that off the dribble, the guys that have to dribble 50 times, before they
The flashy type.
Yeah, I don't really see it.
Nor do I want
He's
that.
not the flashy type.
No.
Nor do I want that.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. Who's Mark? RJ is strong. He still can get to where he needs to get to, which is the basket, whether he has a handle or not. And I definitely agree with it.
Right.
The one thing I will say, and yesterday's game may not have just lent itself to it. I really want to see RJ taking some more shots off the dribble. I just think that's going to round out his game because he got the 3-point shot. He could take it to the rim. Now you could pull up off the dribble, whether that's a pull up 3 or whether that's getting in the key and pull up. It's over.
Right.
It's over.
If RJ could get that, he's unguardable.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I see in some, I think this is one of his videos that he was doing from the mid-range step back shot. So if he could see that also too, he'll be unstoppable, because then he'll be definitely a 3-level scorer. Mid-range, outside, inside. Trust me, he'll be sick. So if he could get that going, as I say, it's just one preseason. I know we got more to see in his game. And it's going to be tough opponents. So, I want to see what else he's going to bring out of his bag that he was working on in the summer. Yeah.
Jeffrey Clafter. Again, when I put up the chat, it just throws off the visual. So I'm just going to read it. Jeffrey Clafter said he didn't even know he had 21. That's when you're efficient. Because you're not hogging the ball. You're not taking 50 shots to get 20 points. You could just, you get right in there. You score your points. Nobody even know, So that's how efficient he was. Actually, Sim, nothing but Knicks. RJ doesn't have to be fast or athletic or super handles. Just be effective and efficient. As he develops, he'll get more crafty. And Mark says when he comes off the pick and roll, he needs to pull up. Yeah. Once he gets that pull up,
it's over.
Yeah. Because now you hard to guard. Right now, when he puts the ball in for, they're like, all right, he's going all the way. They can't stop it though, but he's going all the way to the cup, but he can get to that point where he can pull up. That'll be great. And then also his playmaking. He has playmaking ability, and he, just his ability to find people, that's going to help. I would love for his assist to get to just 4. I'm not asking for a lot. Just 4 assists. That kind of diversifies your game. And listen, I don't know if you remember him saying it. He said, everybody is looking for this major leap. He said, but what's wrong with just adding 1 or 2 things to your game every season? And if you do that, over time, you will get there. Right. So maybe he heard the talk about people talking about, that 3 to 4 year leap. And maybe he's trying to head it off and say, like, I'm not getting mixed up in that. I'm just going to keep, steadily adding to my game.
Basically, he's not trying to put that pressure on himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you put that pressure on yourself and you think you got to study what the fans are saying, and the kind of money that he's making now, and you know what I mean. So I'm glad he has that type of mentality where he's not even thinking like that, and that's good for his psyche. That's good. That means that he's gonna take his time, develop his game. You know what I mean? And everything's gonna come together, and it's gonna come to flourish to perfection.
Right. But is there a part of you that wants him to take that challenge? Like, is there a part of you that's like, he's trying to take the pressure off? Like, is there a part of you that feels like, no?
I mean, at the same time, Queen, he know he has to be better. He know he has to, because New York fans will give him the business if he don't come out and be the best of his ability. So I think it's not really saying that he doesn't want that added pressure, but he know it's there, and he know he has to perform. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be known as one of a great player. So I think every basketball player that comes into the NBA wants to be great, right? It's not like I want to be mediocre or I just want to be in one category. He wants to be mentioned in everything. So I think it's not putting the added pressure, but he knows in himself that he has to be great. And he knows that people is watching and people is always going to talk, but he has the tough mentality not to have that get to him, but to just do him and improve himself while, he grows in the NBA. Put it like that.
Okay. All right. L Survey, maybe. RJ is gaining confidence. He's going to be a star. Greedy Grizz, RJ needs a Paul Pierce from the elbow type of finishing move. Every great player has that one move nobody can stop. I hope he's working on this. We'll know in about 4 years. I hope we know. I hope we know sooner. I hope he gets it sooner than that. RJ's a better off-ball shooter, in my opinion, than on-ball. Yeah, he is. He's a better catch and shoot shooter, at least from three, than he is off the dribble. I just think that if he's able to get that off the dribble, it just makes him tougher to guard. I see RJ Barrett on this particular team as just one of three. And maybe he will separate himself by the end of the season, and that's totally fine. But right now, I see him, I see Brunson, I see Randle at equal levels. And as the season goes on, one or two of them may separate themselves as far as the pecking order is concerned. But right now, any one of them could, or all three of them, can break out. Anything else on RJ before we give our thoughts on Randle's performance last night?
Yeah, she didn't get hers off. Now, I mean, I'm gonna just chill over here.
Oh, okay. Didn't you talk? You didn't say anything about RJ?
No.
All right.
No.
I'll be back. I'm gonna go get me.
What? I ain't gonna talk for so long.
I got to bring my extra Sosa water bottle up. But anyway, guys.
My goodness. All right, I'm gonna keep it.
No. We just playing. It's your time. Your time to shine.
Look, RJ came in last night like he has something to prove. I mean, I heard the comments that that he made about what's wrong with adding a couple things to his bag. He could say that, but we've seen in those videos. We saw a few things on display last night that he is taking those next steps. So maybe he may not start averaging 30 points this year. Obviously, he doesn't need to do that. But he's doing all the small things. I mean, the efficiency we saw last night was what we want to see from RJ, right? I mean, he was 8 of 14 from field goals, 3 of 5 from three-pointers. And then he made his 2 free throws that he shot. I believe he had 5 rebounds and 3 assists. I don't have it pulled up.
Assists, I believe, but
Two assists. All right. Well, now I have it pulled up. 1 steal and 1 block to go with all of that. He showed that all around game, and the intensity is what we wanted to see from him. He finished better around the basket. He did get blocked once by Isaiah Stewart, so I did peep that. But I mean, that's the one time that he got blocked. I mean, it's the confidence is there for the kid, and I hope he just keeps building on this in preseason, because I feel like he's like Robert Saleh, and he's got his receipts out, and he's gonna start collecting them as the season goes on. Because a lot of people was talking smack, and I remember even RJ made a comment, talking about players that are getting higher contracts and whatnot. So RJ's speaking out now. It starts now. And I think I'm not going to say, and to your point earlier, Steph, in regards to they're all kind of at the same level, or, as far as the dichotomy of the team. Yeah, for now. I think it's going to vary per night. I think it's going to be whoever's hot is going to have that hot game. But I think RJ's always going to have that all-around game that you'll be able to rely upon. And if this kid if he can keep that efficiency, I know he's not going to make 3 out of 5 3-point shots a night. That would be incredible. But that's a huge difference for him. Huge. I mean, I know that everybody was, frustrated with the fact that he wasn't shooting the 3 very well last year. If he just makes those catch and shoot threes in the corner, that's a big difference for this team.
Yeah.
And then of course the free throws as well, which he made a main focus for himself in the over the summer. I'm just really encouraged by the kid, and I think he's ready to prove himself. Whether he scores 30 a night and becomes a closer, I'm not worried about that. He just needs to star in his role, like they, like we say.
Right.
And just be that person that we can rely upon every night. And I think he'll be able to do that. I'm super excited. Just what we saw last night was what we wanted to see, and we only got those first glimpses. We play the Pacers. I know Miles Turner can give RJ problems, so I'm curious to see what his finishing looks like then. So we'll get to see more.
Right. And Tsunami, don't get too high, don't get too low. Because I remember that first video, you was pumped up about the Jets. You could feel the energy coming off the screen. Then they lost. And that's when I thought
she was like, "Welcome to the channel."
Look,
the Jets lost.
Y'all gotta understand. We be throwing those videos out at 2:00 in the morning sometimes.
That's what.
And they thought we was gonna lose against the Steelers too.
Yeah, it wasn't looking good.
When you talking about as I was watching the game?
No.
Watching the game, Tsunami, is a different. Oh, say it again.
No, I was talking about the second video.
Videos, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, Stopper said something else. So I was like, wait, which one?
All right. Enough of RJ. There was no meat on the bone. I don't need to say anything other than I like the way he played. If you have time, check out my morning show where I gave my thoughts on the game, and particularly RJ, who I was impressed with. We don't have to go through everybody, but let's go through Randle. My concerns, and I don't know if they've been answered. I don't think they're going to be answered until there's some adversity, and that is he willing to play off ball? Is he, willing to allow Brunson to handle the ball? And still be engaged, right? Offensively and defensively. And the answer yesterday was yes. Will it continue to be yes? On the defensive end, Randle can guard out on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
He can. He can guard one-on-one. The issue is not his ability, it's his willingness to do it. And his willingness to do it for 33, 34, 35 minutes, however long he's out there. That's the issue with Randle defensively. How engaged is he going to be, and how consistently engaged is he going to be? So we saw some good things. He did take the ball off the rim and bring it down. He passed it ahead, a few times, something he said he wanted to focus on. Yes, people were quick to point out he bumbled the ball one time. It happened.
He's picking on everything. That's to tell y'all they hate him.
Right. But overall, I like that they set him up. They set him up. They found him in the post, and he turned around, faced the basket, and went. They found him in the mid post, or he faced up, he took a shot. They found him, for an easy layup, on the break, and it wasn't him trying to generate offense for everybody else. They were finding him in his spots, and that's a major difference. And I think if that continues, he'll be much more efficient, because I think it's just decision fatigue when he has to come down every possession and process the game and facilitate the game. That's when the mistakes start. So, he wasn't super sharp, especially in that first half. But if his mind is right and he's willing to accept the role that it looks like he's going to have, I think that's going to help the Knicks. Any other thoughts on Randle? And the same thing for the chat.
I think for me, it's just all about adjustments with Randle,
Yeah.
like you said.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. Like, Randle's still going to be Randle. Like, to me, like, I don't think he has any more wrinkles in his game that he added on in the summer. Like, he still looks the same. Like, he only played 18 minutes. He still had like 15 and 6 and 4.
Right.
Like, he's gonna stuff the stat sheet. He's gonna help us win. I don't want to say anything negative about Randle. At least not the first preseason game. He didn't do anything wrong last night.
Right. And nothing but Knicks. Didn't that bumble of the ball turn into an RJ dunk off his assist?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it
did.
That was a nice pass, too. That was a nice pass.
Yeah, it did.
Yes, it did. I mean, I've been saying
Y'all know I
this
got
all
out of my
season.
seat when it happened. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you good. I was saying this all season. Look, he gonna have to buy into whatever role that the coaching staff and the head office wants him to do, and get his mind right. And you can see from last night, he had to accept his role and play in his role. You know what I mean? So, as I said before, he continued with his ways from last season, and they're gonna look to trade him by the trading deadline. So, I mean, look, he has to do better. And apparently last night he came out and showed us that he's willing to play off ball, right? But Queen said, and I said it before, it's just one game, right? And we got 3 more preseason games to go in the regular season. So let's see if that is going to continue, and see if he'll be more efficient by him not having to do a lot on the offensive end, and just be a bully coming down in the post and making the right reads and making the right shots. And if he could hit 3 or 6 3-pointers, I think last night he had 2 or 4, I believe, 50%. If he could get that from him also too, be more efficient on the arc, we'll be good. We'll be good. So I think he's accepting his role as probably, I don't know if you want to call it a third option. And then after he has D Rose in his corner, in his ear, telling him about himself if ever he slips up. So he knows he's on a tightrope, and he knows Rose and whoever else is going to be on his case. You know what I mean? As Rose said, whether you like it or not, he's one of the leaders in the room, and you just going to have to take the constructive criticism. So over the summer, you know what I mean? He said he got his mind right, and that's what I want to see. New energy, new life. You know what I mean? And let's just move forward and see what it can do for the team.
Okay. Tsunami, I know you don't have much to say on this topic.
Stop. I was laughing at something I saw in the comments. I got to say this real quick. You guys are trying to tank. Y'all are ready to tank already? The preseason just started. I know Wembanyama looked good. Yes, he did. But damn, like, I can't believe we're already here.
Yeah, that's a different subject.
That's why I was quiet. But to your point, or to the points that, in the question and all that, I thought Randle looked solid. The first half, he looked like he was a little uncomfortable, still kind of adjusting to his role and all that. Yeah, he did have that moment where he, bumbled the ball and all that. He just looked like he wasn't certain yet. But in the second half, he relaxed. And I think Brunson's addition is going to calm him down a little bit so he can just be more decisive, whether that's just shoot when he got the ball or pass the ball. So I thought he looked pretty solid. Like the stat line, like to what Jarrell mentioned earlier, looked pretty good. The vibes that we saw as far as like his body language and all that, it looks solid. Now we know it's the preseason, so the vibes shouldn't be bad now. They better not be. But I mean, I'm not too worried about it. Like, you know, the whole point that we mentioned before, clean slate and all that, he has that with me. But if we, you know, see some adversity, I want to see him remain calm. But I'm so high on Brunson right now that I think Brunson will be able to keep him chill. And whatever Zen things that he did in the summer, you know, I don't know if he went to see the Dalai Lama and meditated or what, but I mean, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Let's see what Randall does. To the person, I lost the comment because my snipping tool don't want to work. But I think they said trade him now since his since his value can't get any higher. I hear you. I hear you. I'm not gonna say I'm against it, but I wouldn't do it just yet. I think let's let him bake a little bit more in the regular season first. If you start faltering, then you trade him.
You want to trade him before the season start, and then after y'all want to tank already, and the season even start yet. I don't get it.
I mean, Wembanyama on the team look good though. I
was about to say, I don't know if you saw him
ready
last night.
No, I saw the little G League game last night. I was switching back and forth. He was doing his thing.
He is a monster.
We
goodness.
Our luck. We'll take it, not even get him.
Right.
Oh, that's the thing about it.
You're right.
We tanked for Zion. We tanked for Zion, and we didn't even get Zion.
We'll get Scoot. I like Scoot though. I'll stay over here.
I'm about to say I like somebody in the draft it's not either one of them.
Oh, wow.
Say it again, Jarrell.
I said I like somebody else in the draft that's not either one of them, but that's another conversation. We're gonna have draft talk now. Yeah, we're gonna have draft talk later. You know.
I'm curious who you.
Yeah, that's all the way down in June. That's all the way down in June.
Right.
Slide it on in the chat. I want to see.
We're gonna talk about it.
Let's see what the chat is saying about RJ. B baller for
forever. I think
forever. All right, thank you. I wasn't mad at Randall yesterday. Need more time to check him. Coach Malpica, I like him. He took the ball to the rim at the end of the half instead of taking a shot outside. It's me. As long as I don't see him at the top of the key, I'm good. Who's Mark? Randall is the same player. He needs to simplify his game. Jeffrey Clafter, get him good shots. Greedy Grizz, we need Randall to play his game. We need him to play more efficient. Fans that don't want him touching the ball or off the team don't know basketball. He's a top 5 power forward in this league. That's pretty strong.
Mark said you should be fired if you're not taking for Victor. I'm weak. Damn, the whole NBA.
Hold on, honestly though, no, maybe not the whole NBA, but if you close,
you're looking at teams like Detroit, Houston, Orlando. Who else is at the bottom? Probably Sacramento. All these other teams gonna be tanking for that guy.
Sacramento, though, the way they're building their team, I think they're building to win.
Maybe I just said
the other day.
Yeah,
we'll see. Sorry, I just had to read it.
It's true, though.
I like this tank discussion, but it's early, y'all.
Right.
It's early.
So before we get out of here, let's talk about the last person. Let's talk about Thibbs.
Oh, I did not think you were going to talk Thibbs. Go ahead, though.
Thibbs. Let's talk about Thibbs and what you saw, and if you think this is just a preseason thing, or do you think this is something that will continue? Whatever your point is, will continue into the regular season. Jarrell? or you need some time to get your thoughts together?
No, I'm good.
I was like, if he ain't got it, I'll
man,
go.
I hated Thibbs' face all last season.
Damn.
And when he grew that beard, I hated his face even more. I ain't gonna lie.
That's my coach, man.
Terrible. I don't care.
Coach.
But I'm not gonna lie.
Joe Judge? My goodness. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie. Last night, watching the game, as long as the ball don't stick and we have some type of imagination on offense, I don't have a problem with Thibbs. Like, I don't have a problem with his rotations, really. But last night, his rotations didn't matter at all. It was the preseason. So a lot of people that played a lot of minutes is not going to play those. So I can't even say how his rotations is going to be.
Yeah.
But how our offense is, I can't really say anything bad about him, at least not yet. But I think Jalen Brunson has the most to do with that, not Thibbs. But we'll see. Like, I can't really grade Thibbs on that game at all. Like, there's nothing he could have really done. Like, we played Detroit. They're not really that talented. They're young. They're talented, but they're really, really young. So I didn't think it was going to be that much of a contest with them anyway, at least not this year. Right. So, yeah, it's nothing I can really report on Thibbs. I can't say nothing bad about him, and I really don't like that. But it's all good. Like,
you'll have ample opportunity, trust.
Yes, I will. Like, first game, I'm on him. First regular season game, I'm on him because we're going to play the same team.
Right.
So if it doesn't look like this, if we don't blow them out the first game, yeah, I'm on Thibbs because I need to know why we didn't do so. But
I agree.
So I'm not going to say anything bad about him. He didn't do anything wrong either. He's just like Randle, like all the villains from last season. All the villains from last season, people that don't like, nobody could say anything bad about. Even Fournier, like he didn't even do anything last night. But it's not like you could say anything bad that he did either. He was just Fournier, and he didn't play that many minutes. And when he did play, I know he was just out there. He didn't really do much.
Right.
But yeah, Thibbs is Thibbs. Like, he's going to be all right.
All right.
This should be a narrative going forward. The villains. I love it. I love it. Thibbs, Randle, and Fournier all in their own little group in the secret lair, concocting schemes to let the Knicks fans down. That said, I'm encouraged so far, but it's early as hell. He still shocked us. I'm hearing an echo, which is weird. All right.
No, you good.
Nah, I don't hear you good.
Okay. Well, he still shocked us a bit by playing as many players as he played. I didn't expect to see Deuce McBride get big minutes. So that was encouraging. I mean, he even put my boy Trevor Keels out there. Knicks fans, Trevor Keels got some minutes, y'all. And
garbage time though.
Get in summer league. I know, I'm playing. he got 3 minutes though. So I'm just saying he looked like he kind of turned over a little bit of a new leaf, but it's preseason. Like you said, the offense flowed really well. So I'm encouraged by all of that so far. And I want to say this to give him a little bit of credit. These guys played defense like it was a regular season game. You have to give Thibbs that. I think he instilled that in them to go hard yesterday. So, there was 14 steals total. I mean, it wasn't just Deuce. Deuce did a lot of the killing steals, and the murdering and stealing. But I mean, Quickley had 3 steals, and Mitch had a steal, and several players had steals. So I'm just saying, I think that intensity, I think he does get those guys ready. We'll just have to see what happens in the regular season. But I do like the point that you made, Jarrell, as far as we play them first game of the season, or the first home game of the season, rather, right? So when we do play Detroit, we need to see that again. We need to see that same defensive intensity. And I'm sure Detroit's going to make some adjustments based on what they just saw to us in the preseason. So if that's the case, then we need to have counter adjustments. And I want to see that. And I want the rotation to be at least as far as the 6 minutes mark, that we saw in the first quarter, we saw those players go out. I want to see that again. I want to see Randle get rest early. I don't want to see another 12-minute first quarter for Randle. So,
yeah, the rotations was nice yesterday. You seen the first 6 minutes. That's when first 3 players came off the bench. I think it was Quickley, Obi, and I think somebody else in the first 6 minutes. So,
it was
Hartenstein.
Cam. It was Cam
was
Reddish.
Cam. It was Cam Reddish.
I forget the injured prone player. Okay.
I was gonna say we didn't talk about
Absolutely.
Cam. I didn't know if
Yeah,
you
we're
wanted
gonna
to.
talk
No,
about
we don't. Well, we didn't need to because he wasn't really a factor. But anyway,
Jeez.
A lot of hate. A lot of hate coming
Fournier
from
looks,
Cam.
right?
but to Tom Thibodeau, yeah, I think I think we've seen his rotations, but in the first quarter and in the second quarter, where he made the significant rotations when it was needed to, because as you see, first 6 minutes, Randle came out, Obi came in, you know what I mean? In the second half, it was the same thing, until when the game got out of hand. That's when you see everybody got extended minutes. So you kind of see what the rotation is going to look like and how many minutes people going to get, even though it was preseason, because Rose didn't play a lot. I think he only had, like 6 minutes or something like that. And, and so on and so on. So, like I said, it's a new leaf. I think also, too, we are so deep that you could afford to make early rotations like that. So I hope moving forward, he keeps everybody fresh. He don't run them down playing 12 minutes a quarter like what Tsunami just said, and keep everybody fresh, and we could win games like that. So I hope it's just one preseason game, and let's see what's going to happen in Indiana with his rotations also too. And that's my coach, man. Terrell Owens. That's my coach.
Ooh, I'm not there
That's
with
my
you.
coach.
I mean, listen, I think if you're expecting him to play as many players as he played last night in the regular season, you're going to be
it's not happening.
totally disappointed.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's
That
not happening.
rotation is 10. And I've heard somebody even say 9, but I think
He likes 9, but it'll probably be 10.
yeah. So the rotation is going to be 9 or 10. What I hope continues is when there's a blowout, and I believe I said this either this morning or in the beginning of the show. If there's a blowout where we're up significantly or they're up, the other team is up significantly, that he feels comfortable taking the starters out the game and putting in, second team players or situational, super situational players. Like if we're up 28 with 3 minutes to go, I don't think the starters need to close it out. So I hope that he's gotten comfortable with that. And I hope he's gotten comfortable, if somebody is playing well, allowing them to continue to, play and just hold that other player off, for a little bit. But let's not, like, if you think McBride is going to be in the rotation, you're going to be disappointed. If you think Keels is getting time, you're going to be, disappointed,
Let me slide in here and say this, because I don't want this there to be a narrative that I like Trevor Keels. Okay. I just bring him up for fun. That is it.
Right. Yeah. No.
I don't mean it.
No. I know that. I was just saying in I didn't even remember what you said, really. You know how that goes. But I was just no, my memory.
I'm weak. Go ahead. Though.
Yeah. I'm just saying, no. If you think Hartenstein is going to get more minutes than Mitch, that's not happening. If you think Randall's playing 18 minutes, that's not happening. Senga Waldron, I'm not disrespecting Miles.
He shouldn't be playing.
Why am I disrespecting him if I'm telling, if I'm saying, he says, Steph, you have to stop disrespecting Miles. It's too much. First of all, what did I say about Miles McBride?
Right.
He's not going to be in the rotation.
And playing over
That's
who?
all you said.
And
yeah.
Senga, to Queen's point here, do you think that Miles McBride is better than Derrick Rose or Quickley? That's really the problem. And that's not shading him. But how do you beat those two out?
Yeah, I think I've been very fair. I like what McBride, did in the game, but he's not going to get in the rotation. He's just not. I think that, like I said earlier, he's gained his he gave us a Marcus Smart. Okay, all right. Okay. Like this is when I get hyped. Like I be trying goodbye only, let's just, it's a new season. Just, let's, Steph, just be chill. you know.
We'll visit the Dalai Lama like
But
Randall
a
did,
Marcus Smart perform. I mean, all right, fine. He gave us a Marcus Smart performance in the preseason game. Listen, I don't have a problem with Miles McBride. He's not going to be in the rotation.
Right.
But what I think has happened, though, I think he's gained some
Trust.
Yeah.
And I think if there's an injury, unlike last season, I think this season he'll get some time.
Right.
Yep.
I think this season he will get some time. And listen, we all know what Deuce can do defensively. I don't like, he's a very good, if not our best perimeter defender.
Yeah, he's our best defender.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even a question, but there's two parts to the game as well, and he has people in front of him. That's all I'm saying. So basically, it wasn't even about Miles McBride. Just in general, everybody played. I just think that I pretty much know the rotation is going down to 9 or 10 once the season start, and hopefully, when there's a blowout, Thibbs won't play our starters to the end of the game.
Right.
Look,
That's what I'm hoping.
that Denver
Now, if
game,
we-
I haven't forgiven you, Tom Thibodeau. That Denver game, what happened to RJ? I'm still looking for you. I better not see that crap again.
Now, if we see a person like what's his name, Arkanako, crack the rotation,
Archie
then we gonna
Diacono.
have whatever his name is. Then we gonna have a problem. Like, how come Deuce ain't get to crack the rotation, but he does it? Now we have an argument with Thibbs now in his rotation, but that ain't happening. You know what I mean?
That's
So
Brunson's boy, watch out.
nah, he could be his boy, but he ain't good enough. But I have a question, Queen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That I heard somebody said today, and let me see if I could phrase it in the way that I heard the person say it. Right? Do you think that Detroit is ahead of us in the aspect of them drafting Cade and Ivy, knowing that they're like all-star potential, but the Knicks is still questionable to see who will be that particular all-star franchise player? Do you understand the question?
Say that again.
Do you think Detroit is ahead of us in the aspect that they have two building blocks as far as Cade Cunningham and Ivy than our team that doesn't have like a budding star or all-star, or we don't know who that person is yet in that aspect?
Personally, I think that those two guys have a higher ceiling than the guys on our team. Now, will they reach it or not? You never know. You never know. But I just think that they have a higher ceiling.
So do you think that Detroit is ahead of us?
Not right now, but like
Okay.
5 years from now, if the Knicks don't trade for a star or develop a star, yeah, I think so.
Right. Everybody talks about our kids. Their kids is younger than ours.
They are.
So yeah, they're not ready yet. But when they get ready, their talent level is better than ours.
Right.
So when they actually do get ready, then there's a good chance that they will be ahead of us. But that just remains to be seen. Like Steph said.
Yeah, it remains to be.
Ditto.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. Anybody else? Did you have something? Tsunami, were you able to answer it or?
I mean, I would have said ditto, but I mean, I like Detroit's talent. They're gonna be fun to watch. but they're just not where we are as far as the experience aspect. And that does matter a little bit
Right.
here. They're not ready for the playoffs. I think we can
Right.
obviously make the play in and maybe make the playoffs as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take the maybe out. Make the playoffs, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like to literally to what you said, Queen. Now, 5 years from now, what do they look like? What if they add another good role player? I like kind of how they're building. I like that they added Bojan Bogdanovic there. It was a good fit for that team. They might surprise a few people this year, but I think we're ahead of them right now.
Right. I would agree with that. Yeah. And there's no guarantees. Like even when you look at OKC and you look at Chet Holmgren and you look at Giddey and you're like, wow, I would put my money that, both of one of those guys will be franchise players, but there's no guarantees.
And injuries.
Right.
That's a big thing that people, forget about. A lot of players don't necessarily pan out because of injuries. I'm worried about Chet. Foot injuries. Ooh.
Look, from the time that boy, I told Queen this a long time ago. He's gonna get injured. He's fragile. I've been saying that from the kid, and he just tried to guard LeBron, and look what happened.
His poor foot.
You know what I mean? So no, but if you look at the history of those type of big men, they always getting injured. You got the Bradleys. You got the what's his name? The Chinese guy from Houston.
Yeah.
What's his name? Yao Ming. Miles Turner he got foot injury. So these tall guys, these tall guys have a history with foot injuries, man. I'll be scared to draft, somebody like that. But they took a chance.
Yeah. Shout out to Spanish Harlem, who says Detroit is better set up for the future than we are.
Yeah.
Realistically, Knicks are set up better for now. That's a good way to put it. And Sherwin, we are ahead of the Pistons. They have more natural talent than us. Okay.
Right. Like when you talk about Cade Cunningham and Ivy, nobody mentioned Jalen Duren last night. Did you see what he was doing?
Rebounds.
14 rebounds.
He's still raw, and he has
He was the youngest person in the draft. He had 14 rebounds yesterday.
They were quiet as hell, though.
24 minutes.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be a beast. Like I know he didn't score. He didn't score at all. I think he only had like 2 points, but they didn't need him to score. Like doing what he was going to do. Like he had to have 14 rebounds. He's like 19, youngest person in the league. Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, but the other kid, I think he showed off some of his 3-point range too. What's his name again?
Ivy?
No, not Ivy. No, the other center that started.
No,
not Liver.
Oh, Isaiah
Livers.
Stewart.
Stewart. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
the cat
right.
that got bucked with LeBron.
Right. So you see he made, I think he made, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 threes last night, but with that advantage and him could space out the floor, it gives him a little edge over Duren. So I still like him. I still wanted to draft him. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
But but Stewart, he improved his game, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
They got a nice little core going over there, but in my opinion, I don't think they're ahead of us. As I will have to agree, probably in talent wise, as far as probably the backcourt, they have upcoming maybe franchise changing players, maybe superstars, maybe all stars. In that sense, but I still think we ahead of them just because we have more experience and our players is more experience, and we have played together for about 4 years with each other, and they just starting to gel. As Tsunami said, they might surprise some people. Yes, they are probably set up for better in the future, but I still think we ahead of them.
I'll even say we can get got messing around with them if we give them confidence. So we need to take them seriously.
That's it.
Just like
You mean
Orlando.
when we played them that first? Yeah, Orlando had our number.
Yeah, I was about to say that you
And
could say
so
that with
had
any
a
team in the
number.
league.
Don't let Ivy like start making threes on us and shock the hell out of everybody. So like
right.
they have it in them. I just think we're better right now today.
We are. I don't even think it's a question.
And Brunson was like, oh, Kate is on me. Let me get in the paint real quick. So
Yeah, he can get his shot off no matter what. And that fadeaway jumper with the like when he does get in there, you
he
think,
nasty,
they
man.
got you. And he do a little something with his foot, and
Yep.
then he'll lean all the way back and then hit the jumper to create the space. Wow.
Man,
Yeah.
What y'all think about Killian Hayes last night?
He had a little sneaky game. He did.
Coming
He looked
along.
better because like Detroit, but him last year, he didn't look that good anytime I watched him play.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 2 years,
He looks like he
I was about to say the last two. Since he's been in the league, he has looked that good, but he was a young cat too. He got drafted when he was 18, 19 years old. Like some of these dudes need to simmer a little bit. They're not going to come in the league cooking. Like it's
like
not
Trevor
going to
Keels. Let him simmer. Let him cook a
Man,
little
you
bit.
need to
Marinate.
you need to bury him and put some water on him for a while. Like that seed ain't gonna grow for a while.
Look, there will be a flower or a plant that pops out of the Keels
We'll see.
the Keels burial plot, that you throw
Let's
in the
talk a
dirt
little
on.
bit about Cam before we get out of here. I don't want people to the Cam
Lord.
that we said we would talk about him before we go. He got injured. If it wasn't for bad luck, as my mom would say, you wouldn't have no luck at all when it comes to Cam Reddish and the Knicks. But what I will say is that, I heard that people say he was pressing a little bit. I just felt, maybe he was. I just felt like on that drive, when he was driving to the basket and he hit RJ, he could have easily put that up himself and forced it. I'm trying to get a roster spot. I'm trying to, show them, what I can do. He made the right play. That was the right play to hit RJ, for the layup. So I like, he came right out, hit the three. I liked what I saw from Cam in a little bit of time that he had. I think it was precautionary, I believe. Yeah. I don't know if they spoke about the injury since then, if anybody has heard anything, but from what I understand, it was more precautionary. We shall see. And I think it happened when him and RJ was in together, right? I think they overlapped for maybe 6 minutes, or what have you. Yeah. So I like what I saw from Cam. I wanted to see that lineup a little more, Cam and RJ.
I like him just because of his defense. Like I already know what Cam can do offensively. Defense, I like how he was getting to the passing lanes. Like as long as he shows effort on defense, I think Cam will be fine. And plus, free injuries and stuff like that. But he just stepped on the rest foot. And I think he could have played if it was a regular season game. It was preseason and it was a blowout. Like he shouldn't have went back out there. There was no reason to.
Right. And hopefully he could play Friday.
Right. Hopefully.
I'd like to see him.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you guys both hit it. I thought coming into the game, like his first few plays, he looked great. His defense didn't waver any. It's just, I think after a few plays, he missed like a wide open shot, and then after that, I felt like he started pressing just a little bit. I think he just has a sense of urgency of how important these minutes are for him in his career right now. So I think that's why he was rushing his shot a little bit. Some of the shots that he got a little bit later on, but to everybody's point, to Queen's point, to Jarrell's point, I mean, they reported that he wanted to come back in the game. He said, "No, I'm fine.
Right,
I can play." And the medical staff was just being, super overzealous and being precautionary, just to say that, nah, it's not that serious. It's a preseason game. Grimes is already hurt. We can hold you for a little bit. And they were really precautionary with Nerlens Noel last year too. So I mean, I think that's how our training staff is in the preseason, which they should be. Jericho, all those players, that's just what they're doing. I'm still encouraged by my guy. I just hope that it doesn't linger, because his ankle injury, he's had ankle injuries before and they lingered a little bit. So we'll see. The hateration and the holleration that you're about to bring into this dance room is not necessary.
I'm gonna just say one thing.
Go ahead.
Your best ability is your availability. I think that's how it go. So be available on Friday. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
Well, I don't know. You say that, but him and Grimes is battling minutes, but Grimes in a walking boot right now. So does that go for him too? And he hurt his knee
Listen,
last year.
he is already solidified.
How? So who?
Even though if it is his second year, Thibbs got trust in him. Thibbs don't even have trust in cameras yet. So I mean, regardless of the fact going into the season and even before the season started, who we say we wanted to start at the 2? Grimes, and he didn't even play a ball yet. Off of what we seen in summer league. So he already has his spot solidified. Now Cam, now we don't know. Been in the league 4 years, top 10 pick. Let Herder and the guy from Virginia take his spot. He's always injured. All I'm saying, be available on Friday. You're not available, I don't even want to hear nothing about Cam no more. That's it. I ain't got nothing to say.
I don't see how Grimes got his spot solidified. Who solidified it? He's not starting this year because Fournier is, and he's hurt.
But he still has a spot on the team. He's still going to get minutes.
Cam has a spot on the team, Stafford. We're not talking about roster spots now. We're just talking about the minutes that they're battling for. So if Grimes is not playing, so you say if Grimes missed all of preseason and Cam actually plays all the preseason games and plays well, Grimes is automatically going to get more minutes than Cam? Just because he's solidified from the bench? I
think so, because Thibbs has more trust in him, and Thibbs has seen what he can do when he's healthy.
Okay. We'll see.
Well,
I may be wrong, but that's how I see it.
Okay.
Manchild doesn't agree. Grimes hasn't done anything yet. Slow down,
Yeah,
Staff.
he hasn't. Not yet. I'm not saying that he won't do
all right. Okay, so what has Cam done? Tell me.
In this league, more than Grimes.
When? How? Where?
When he was in Atlanta, yeah, he did more than Grimes did
so
far this year.
Especially last year in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and he averaged 25 points in the playoffs.
What?
It's the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, he actually played in the playoffs and scored 25 a game. What has Grimes done? He averaged 6 points last year.
Okay, all right. You're saying all of that, but why did Atlanta still trade him, though? You saying all of that, but why did Atlanta still trade him? He's supposed to be the next Paul George, right?
The same reason Grimes slipped to the 20s in the draft.
Ooh, good answer.
It's the same.
But he still came out in his rookie season and proved that he needed to be in the rotation, and he proved it, and he played in his rookie season. And he got minutes before he got injured afterwards. And he balled out in the summer league. I mean, Thibbs has trust in him as a better perimeter defender.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, though, Cam had his chance. And what has he done with his chance? He hasn't proven it. Even though Graham averaged, 4 or 6 points last year, he still proved that he could play the game. And he's a defensive perimeter good defender. Cam has been injured for the past 4 years, bro. Had 2 playoff games with 25 points. Okay. But he's always injured, bro. I haven't seen enough to say, okay, all right, give him a spot.
But you haven't.
I may be wrong.
You haven't seen but you
haven't seen Grimes either.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You haven't seen, but you haven't seen enough of Cam. But you've seen more of Cam than you have of Grimes.
No, I have seen more of Grimes than me of Cam on the court than him.
That's because you haven't been following him.
Yeah, I'm about to say
following him.
Yeah,
you've seen
right.
more of Cam than you've seen of Grimes.
Right. That just means you should have been watching Hawks games.
It's mathematical.
Maybe because I don't watch Hawks games.
He's been in the league for three
yeah,
years.
He's definitely done more than Grimes, man.
Yeah, but all right, he's been on the Hawks, but have I heard his name been calling up in any of the games? Only probably 1 or 2 where certain players got injured and he scored 41 in one game, and that was the only 2 highlights of last year. Out of 4 years,
Wait, hold on. Okay. All right. Let's be fair. Right? I got my own issues with Cam in terms of his motor, in terms of I would have liked to have seen more by this year, but injuries was an issue for him. It's not even questionable that skill-wise he's a higher skill player than Grimes right now. Like, that's not even a question. The issue is more about how much, he might be 100, but if you're only getting 50 out of that 100, that's 50. Grimes could be a 73, but if you're getting 100 out of that 73, it's a 73, right? So how much are you getting out of the player? So I get all of that. Cam is 23 years old, right? He's been in the league. This is his 4th year. He's had more flashes than Grimes has. He came in the final, the playoff series against us and played very well. In that Milwaukee series, I think it might have been two games, but he averaged 25 points in those 2 games. So I don't want to take anything away from Cam. To me, I feel like both of them have something to prove, but I've seen more of Cam. Now, if you want to bet on upside, that's a different question. Like, if you want to bet on ups, like if you want to say, I've seen Cam for 3 years, he's been up and down. Atlanta got rid of him. If you ask me to bet on a player, I'm gonna put my money on Grimes. That I can get it. But to say you ain't seen enough of him, come on, we seen Grimes for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't know, man. I just don't think Cam fits the mold, man. I just don't. He's just not impressive to me. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong. Surprise me on Friday, but you're always injured, bro. Every time I turn around, you're injured. Every minute. I mean,
Grimes is running neck and neck. Grimes been in the. Yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm a more of a Grimes fan than I am a Cam fan, and so I want to be transparent about that. However, let's be fair. We see Grimes has been in the league for 8 minutes, and 6 of those minutes he's been injured.
Yeah, he's been hurt too.
They going neck and neck. This Cam and Grimes with the injuries.
Like he hurt his knee last year, and now his foot is hurt.
All right, but what I'm saying though, as far as trust wise, who you think Thibbs is going to go with?
I think Thibbs does trust Grimes.
He's not going to go with Thibbs. He's not going to go with Cam. He doesn't know what Cam has. He may be seeing it in practice or whatever, but we know what Grimes is going to bring once he's healthy. I probably hasn't seen none of his games. I mean, what's his name? Cam games or whatever may be the case. But I mean, as I said before, your best ability is your availability, and he hasn't been available. Bro, get healthy. I want to see you shine. I want to see you prove me wrong. And once you prove me wrong, I have nothing to say after that. You don't hear nothing about me saying anything about Cam. But you got to show me something, bro. You got to be healthy. You can't let Grimes, a second-year player, come out and beat you, and you've been in the league 4 years. You let Anthony, what's his name, Culliver and Herder take your spot in Atlanta. Come on now. You got to show up, bro. This is your 4th season. You're trying to get a contract. Please show up on Friday. That's all I'm saying, bro. Show up.
The coaching staff would not let him play, but that's okay. That's fine. He does have something to prove. But
okay, I understand this because of precautionary reasons, yes. But show up on Friday. That's all I'm saying. Show up on Friday.
Tell him he can't play.
Show up Friday. Show up Wednesday. Show up Friday. Show up Wednesday when you play with the Wizards, and show up again when you play Indiana again. Come on now, you got time. Okay, stop making excuses for this guy, yo. Let come out and play.
More talented than Quentin Grimes.
Grimes got to show up on Friday. Does Grimes have to show up on Friday?
Listen, make sure you win that game against Green Bay. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
gonna
gonna
let
be
that
tough.
sit.
I ain't got no argument for that. That's gonna be crazy.
I hope your boy plays.
These wide
But it
receivers
looks
is
like they said he
nuts.
practiced.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. We'll
It's all fun, man.
When you
It's
said
all
no
fun, man.
football
It's all
talk
fun.
on the show because he
right,
knows
right,
that
right,
Danielle
right.
has a lot to say.
Yeah, I told you after 11 o'clock what happened.
Yeah.
11:30.
Yeah, Nick Yak, why didn't Quickley have to show up 3/4 of last year? I think it's about trust. Now we're talking about something different. We're not talking about talent. We're talking about whether the coach trusts you. The coach drafted him.
It's all about trust, man.
He likes, he's a 3-and-D guy. That's his floor. If nothing else happens, every night you're gonna get that from Grimes. And maybe with Cam, you don't quite know what you're gonna get. And but part of that is his role as well. He's not in a consistent role,
Right. I just hope both of them stay healthy because I think both
Agreed.
of them can really, really help us like in the long run this season. Like both of them do different things.
Right.
Like I hope they both can play.
You can have Grimes at the 2 and Cam at the 3, but that means IQ is at the 1 and Rose is out of the rotation.
Or IQ is out of the rotation. Never know. We'll see. I don't think so either. I don't think so. I just said that. I just be talking.
But I hear you.
Be talking. I just be talking.
You weren't the only one. Somebody else said that. Said that too.
Yeah, Quick ain't going nowhere. Quick was closing games for us last year.
Yeah.
Like whether you like him or not, like when we talk, if you want to talk about trust and who Tom Thibodeau trusts, IQ is definitely going to get minutes this year.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
Well, I mean, why we can't have a conversation without calling people fool and clown and all that? But you see, if I was to go ballistic and disrespect you, now you're gonna tell me I'm this and I'm that. All right, Greg, go ahead, man. I'll be that, bro. I'll be that. We could agree to disagree, but when you see you start name calling, bro, that's when we're gonna get a little personal. So just chill, man.
Yeah,
relax,
like who pissed
it's just a conversation, bro. Relax.
Yeah, but that happens a lot, not just in the chat. That just happens even on Twitter.
Social media.
People crazy.
Anybody who's
I ain't disrespecting you. Don't disrespect me like that, bro. You don't know me like that.
All right, stop. So, like, even on Twitter, anybody who believes in Randle must love being in abusive relationships. I'm like,
they be killing people.
So in other words, because we don't agree with you, something is wrong with us. I mean, that's just how it goes. But anyway, before we get out of here, any last words? Shout out to Ron Cleveland, but Ron, we leaving now.
Yeah, man, he always late to the party.
Salute to Ron, though.
Today I heard him made a comment earlier too. 1 minute you dissing Leon Rose, and then the other minute you bigging him up. Which one is it, Ron? Which one is it, Ron? Make up your mind, bro. Because when he came out the last time and talked,
gonna want to come up here.
last time he came out and talked, the man dissed Leon Rose. Now I heard him bigging up Leon Rose. Which one is it, Ron? But anyway, that's a different conversation. Big up yourself, Ron Cleveland.
I know we're trying to get out of here, but we didn't talk about him at all. So, do you have any issues with how Evan Fournier was used and how he's played? Because he played like 18 minutes, 5 points. Like I don't think he had maybe like 1 or 2 assists. Like he didn't really do much. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Fournier he played within the flow of the offense. That's what he's always gonna do. When it comes his way, he'll do what he can with it. If it doesn't come his way, he's okay with it. I thought he was trying on defense. He's not a lockdown defender by any stretch, but I think he was engaged. The thing about it is both Cam and Fournier, Grimes, who could potentially take minutes from Fournier, are both injured.
Right.
I think those are the minutes to be taken. I think he's going to start. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. I think he's going to start, but I don't think it's a lock that he holds that position through the entire season. I think Bron, maybe even Cam has an opportunity, but both of them are injured.
Right.
But to answer your question, he looked okay.
Right.
He looked nothing special.
Nothing special.
He still got his 2-man game with Randle, so there's that.
Which I hate.
I
can't stand that.
Fournier is good when he's making shots.
That dribble handoff is going to always be in the offense, Jarrell. It's always going to be there. That dribble handoff, that 1-2 punch. It's going to be in the offense.
I hate it so much. I was going to say Randle and RJ did it actually one time last night too. That pissed me off. Like, it just ruins the spacing. Like, I hate it. Like, I can't stand that dribble handoff stuff.
Did we score?
That's because RJ made the shot, but Randle was standing like a foot and a half away from him. Like, he almost landed on him. That's how close he was to him. Like, he defended him. Like, that's how close he was.
That's how it's supposed to be. When you dribble handoff, you're supposed to do like this, so you guarding up, so you actually picking the next man. Right, so I mean, it's gonna be like that for the guy to take the shot, bro. I mean,
man, just pass it to RJ. Just pass it to him, man.
Pass it to RJ. That sounds like a good.
Or pass it to Randle. I don't want
motto.
But I don't want the dribble handoff. It's not just Randle. I don't want the dribble handoff at all. Like, I don't like it. I don't like when they do it for Randle. I don't like when Fournier does it. I hate when RJ does it too. That's just a personal preference. That's all.
Right. I forgot what I was going to say. Wow. I forgot what I was gonna
my bad.
What I was gonna say. Just that. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. I think because Randle is not handling the ball as much or facilitating the offense as much, that may impact Fournier. A lot of Fournier's shots came off that 2-man game. Now that Brunson is facilitating the offense a bit more, I wonder how that's going to impact Fournier, if at all. All right. Any last words? I hear you, Ron Cleveland, but I just feel like if we give you 5 minutes, it's like
extends for another half an hour.
Yeah, because somebody else gonna want to say something. Stafford was asleep most of the show. Now we getting ready to get off. The past 20 minutes, he's been on fire. He had to get his little semi-nap in.
Ron too good. I tell you, Ron too good to come up at the end of the show.
And now he's ready.
Right. Yeah, Ron too good. Like, we'll be on here for at least another hour talking with Ron because he's great.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
It says a lot of contradictory stuff too, though. But that's my guy. It's my guy.
But he wants to explain. Maybe we'll hop back on, later on this week. We'll talk afterwards and see if we want to do something. But anyway, any last words?
Oh man, go Knicks! Can't wait till Friday. Game 2 against the Pacers, right?
Yep.
Pacers.
Yeah. Can't wait. See how everybody does again. And yeah, I think we look good. But we play Detroit. We play the Pistons. The Pacers next. I don't think they're really good either. So we can't really gauge, how this talent would be against another good team until the season starts, because we play the Pacers twice. And who do we play the last game? I think
it's the Wizards.
The Wizards, yeah. So we go. We have our preseason is the Pistons, the Pacers twice, and the Wizards. So it's not really giving us a good gauge when it comes to other good teams. But I hope, and we better be 4-0 at the end of the preseason. But let's take it one game at a time. I want, let's just say, let's wait till Friday. I want to see how we play. We should win. We should beat the Pacers twice. Like, I don't want to lose against the Pacers or the Wizards. We should beat all of them.
I love this. Even though it's preseason, you want to get all those dubs. Let's go.
Yes.
Why not?
Again, look who we playing. Like, if I can't, I'm not guaranteeing. Like, it's not like I'm guaranteeing victory, but we should be able to beat these 3 teams. Two teams that we're playing for the rest of the preseason, and then we play Detroit the first game of the season. So yeah, we should go on like a nice little streak of winning.
These games are the These games are the games that we need to win.
3. But
You know what I mean?
I got the timer.
Okay.
And there's no back and forth.
That's what's up. Steph, put the link in there. Let's get it.
No back and forth, Stafford.
Oh shoot. Okay.
I agree with you, Jarrell. Like the Indianas, the Orlandos, the Detroits, the Charlottes.
Right.
Those weak teams that we need to watch. Even Washington Wizards, even though they got Kristaps and Beal. I think on paper we should be able to beat them. So the teams that we should be able to beat, we should go out there and dominate. But those top 4 teams, you know what I mean? We're looking for competition and we're looking to at least compete with them.
Right. I agree.
All right, Ron. I dropped the link, Ron. Where you at?
Right, coming.
Oh, he about to come in?
Well, I figured I'm gonna put him on a timer. That's what happens, right? Somebody comes in, they get the juices flowing again, and then the next thing you know, it's another hour. But I did
because we definitely crazy up here. We would definitely talk for another 2 hours about the Knicks and about other stuff. Like so, like we almost have to force ourselves off
because we talk afterwards. So it's not going to be the same,
right? Exactly.
Don't tell them the trade secrets.
Okay, right.
I gotta work tomorrow. It's a little different than normal for me.
Oh, right. That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Come on, Ron. You got 2 more minutes, Ron. Come on.
He might have.
While we're waiting, I have the game on in the background here, and I was just rewatching it, from time to time, and I didn't realize that Hartenstein was calling for the ball so much.
Yep.
Like. It's amazing, and the passion that he's playing with in a preseason game is just surprising. I like
he can really play. I'm trying not to actually get too psyched about Hartenstein just because he's a career backup.
Yep.
Right, but he's still young. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he can't
24
develop into a starter. He just has been a backup since he's been in the league, and he got in the league young as well, just like a lot of these other cats do. So yeah, I'm trying not to be too psyched, but yeah, he could definitely ball. He could definitely play. Like soon as he get the ball, like it was no, like he knew exactly what he was going to do with it. As soon as he caught the ball, especially on that first 3, like I didn't even know he was going to shoot. As soon as he caught it, like it was in the air already.
Yeah.
Like if you can do that, that opens up everything. Like y'all said earlier about the fit with the starters. Like I think he's just a better fit, period, because he's a better player, but. Yeah, but the dynamic between him and Mitch is going to be something to see and talk about all season long.
And he's a positive influence, I think, on Obi and Quick as well. Just seeing him in the background here. If they didn't have that Harris boy in this game at this point in time, I think we would have did a little bit better. Because our offense got a little stagnant in the third quarter. Right. So it's just I'm impressed. Preseason game, 100%. We'll see what he looks like against another backup center or, a better center in general, and see if he's able to stay out of foul trouble, because I heard that's a thing for him.
Paris Joker said, man with the bed.
No, he got a 5-minute clap. We got a 5-minute clap.
That's funny as hell.
We're gonna let him and let him talk about whatever he want to talk about. So let's add him to the stream.
Salute, Ron.
Sir,
man.
Here.
You gotta come at 9:30 so you can chill with us for the entire show.
Yeah. Definitely got to do that. Yeah. Boy, I hear you, Steph. I hear you, boy. You know I ain't gonna run when somebody call my name. Right. But I share this with you, man. One thing about me. I'm gonna call you out when I used to have this phrase. I used to say it a lot. If you ball, I'm gonna give you the game ball. If you don't ball, I'm gonna give you the game thorns. That go for everybody. It's fluid. You know what I mean? And I gotta respect Leon Rose for how he handled that situation, man. And like I always say, and everybody notice if you've been watching sports for a long time, sometimes the moves you don't make end up being a great move. Everybody going crazy and happy about what we saw last night. But if Leon Rose would have done what they were trying to get out of Leon Rose, them guys you saw last night wouldn't even been on this team. So we should be very thankful that that deal didn't go down. And so that's why I say I had to give him credit. Now, when I got on him about that draft. It wasn't no good draft now. And I stand on that. You know what I mean? But I got to give the guy that credit on that Donovan Mitchell deal, because I even asked Rob the Knick, me and him talked. And I called him, I told him, I said, man, this is the one time since Leon Rose been here that I'm actually in 150, 200% in agreement not to go and get Donovan Mitchell. We them days of giving up everything for a player, and Donovan Mitchell wasn't a deal that was a position of need. Right now, the position of need on this team is that small forward position. The point guard. I'm here to tell y'all, ladies and gentlemen, I said it earlier today, man. I about cried last night watching the Knicks. We finally got a point guard. We finally got one. That's solved. That small forward position, I said it coming into the season. I'm afraid because the only true small forward in essence is Cam on this team. RJ is playing out of position and doing a great job, but Cam is our only real true small forward on this team. And I'm not comfortable with Cam. And Staff, I got to agree with you. Man, you can't stay healthy. I can't count on you. The man got all the talent in the world, and I got to give him that. And I said it earlier today. I think Cam has the potential to be a two-way player in this league. Two-way. He's probably one of our most gifted players so far from a skill set on this team. But the guy can't stay healthy. And Steph, all this money these guys making, man, go get you some specially made high tops, lightweight. Because I'm telling you, we all that played basketball back in the days, we know we had to wear high tops. You could not wear no doggone low top sneakers playing basketball. And I don't know how many times high top sneakers saved me from tearing up my ankles. Get them things, man. Put them on. If you don't want to do that, go use them things that Steph got, man. Find out what Steph using, because he had bad ankles too. But he got to do something about that. I can't keep absorbing him, man. If you can't, you can't stay healthy. You ain't no use to the team. You can't get on the court. But the talent is there, and that's what's so frustrating with Cam, man. So frustrating about him. Yeah. But Leon Rose, Stafford, he good with me right now. You know what I mean? He good with me right now. I'm grading everybody on a case by case basis, man.
All right.
But I'm happy, man. I think y'all we gonna be in for a pleasant season, man. I'm thinking we gonna shock a lot of people. And I said this today, y'all, and it really dawned on me when Hard Will was talking. You look at this team, we got a lot of players that people ain't expecting nothing from, like cast-off players. Julius Randle. Nobody looking for Julius Randle to do nothing. Cast off. Then came from different situations. RJ was the third pick. RJ still get disrespected. You just look at, go down this whole roster and look at these players. With the exception of a few. And when I say a few, very few. I think the only one who really got his flowers when we drafted him was Quickley. Because they said he was the steal of the draft. But everybody, the league has been having a problem with them. Like where they grade our players. We got a bunch of misfit players, man, that got something to prove. And I think you saw that the other night. And I'll say this, and this will be the last thing I say. So far, Evan Fournier, I saw him play defense last night, but it ain't no wonder why. He know Quentin Grimes on his heels. Quentin Grimes is on his heels. And if there's anything that's going to get him up out of the lineup is the lack of defense. So he got to play defense. The gap is closed between Quentin Grimes and Evan Fournier. Big time. And plus last season we knew Quentin Grimes was coming in and closing games. Quentin Grimes before that injury was starting to take over Evan Fournier's role. So some guys on notice, man. At Hartenstein, I love the pickup. And I'm going to leave it right there. I love that pickup.
Me too. And this is what I'll say about Grimes. Him and Cam, right now, they neck and neck.
I don't agree with that though. I don't agree with it, but that's your opinion.
Grimes just ain't been in the season as long, being as hurt like Cam, but
he hurt now.
But percentage wise, they might be neck and
Yeah,
neck.
they're the same. That he hurt now.
I'm trying. When did he hurt his foot though? I'm trying to figure out how you hurt your foot, and we ain't been.
Oh, sorry. Wait, hold on.
Oh man.
Oh, you got him back. It's all
I'm
good.
trying to figure out how he hurt his foot if we wasn't playing basketball. What did he do?
I had it on a timer. Once it hit 3, it just went out. I'm kidding. I hit that.
Yes, how did he hurt his foot?
It had to be during training camp, and we just
Yeah,
because we didn't hear that many stories. At least I didn't about training camp. Like they kept a lot.
Well, better drink milk.
Right.
I mean, people were saying he was injury prone off of that one injury during the last season. I was like, nah, that's too soon. And like the next day, like he was in a walking boot. I'm like, what's going on?
I tell you, I think, and that's what's so exciting too. Is last night everybody contributed to that win. We know it's preseason, can't get too high, can't get too low, but there's things to like about what we saw last night.
Not about it.
And for Grimes not to be in that game, and he's going to be a big part of this season for us, and for us to do what we did last night, it was real nice to see, man. But Jalen Brunson, man, thank goodness we got him.
Yeah, but that was part of the draft you didn't like, though. Yep. You know, for us to clear the money for him and things, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with Steph.
I wasn't happy with the draft either, but that was part of. But though I believe we could have still cleared money out and got Brunson, another way.
Yeah, we still could have got him. We still could have got him, and I tell you this, for everybody, because I've heard a lot of people disrespect Grimes, man. I don't know why. But you got to ask yourself why Danny Ainge wanted him so bad. Why Danny Ainge? Why was he the sticking point for why a deal didn't get done? You got to ask yourself that. But I don't have to ask myself that, because when I look at his game, and people get confused when you say stuff. Sometimes they just concentrate on their name gets said, but they don't think about the whole context of what a person is saying. When I look at Quentin Grimes, all I see when I look at that kid play is a very, very, very young Klay Thompson. That's exactly what I see. And you know, it's funny because when I said that earlier today, man, somebody put in the chat, said that's who everybody was comparing him to when he came into the league, was a young Klay Thompson. And you can see, because Klay wasn't nothing like what he became when he first came in this league.
True.
And Grimes, I hate that he's hurt, because we saw what he did in the summer league, albeit the summer league. But when you work on your offensive game, things that you add, because people wanted to see him be able to dribble the ball, be able to get his own shot, get other people involved. I saw all that in the summer league. And that guy was the reason why we got to the championship game. He carried the Knicks to the championship summer league game. So, you know, it's a lot to like about that kid. And defense ain't nothing I'm going to ever have to question with him. Never going to have to question that. That guy got the potential to be a two-way player.
Everything you said, I need him out there walking.
Yeah, he got to be healthy. He's another one that got.
No, he's out of the walking boot now. He's out of the walking boot.
Yeah, you know, he's another player that got the potential to be a two-way player. Him and Cam, man, but them guys got to stay healthy, man. Go drink some of what RJ drinking.
Right? Yes. Whatever that is, go drink it. It's the secret stuff from Space Jam. That's what it is.
Yeah, man. I tell you. But Queen, it's good to see you, man.
It's always is good to see you as well. You welcome on the show anytime. You know, I would love it. Like I didn't even comment on the Mitchell stuff because I knew that would have been like another 20 minutes.
Yeah. That because there's a lot of people that still wanted that deal real bad, but
right.
I'm thankful that we finally, you know what, we finally being rewarded for building the team the right way. Stop quick fixing.
We'll see. But this is what I'll say. Just a slight pushback. Getting a 25-year-old in his prime, I don't know if that's a quick fix. That hasn't even reached his prime. Now, if you would have brought back a LeBron or somebody, I'm like, that's a quick fix. But trying to get a young, proven player, he's still young, but he's more proven. You know, I mean, I get it that the asking price was too high, but I don't think there's anything wrong with going after a young, proven guy.
I get what you're saying, but I get shades of Carmelo Anthony when I
Nah.
think about the move for him, because he's going to affect your team offensively, and offense really ain't our problem. But I think our biggest impact is what when they got Brunson. That is the biggest impact, and I think when they look at it, they're gonna say that was the biggest impact to any team. The New York Knicks getting Brunson on how our season goes, because you can feel it already. You can feel it. It's a difference around this team with him.
But Varun, that was a different regime though. I don't think Leon Rose is that.
Silly.
Silly to go give up the whole farm just for one player. I don't think he's like Steve Mills and those guys. That's then. This is something totally different. So he was making the right move, and I think you know Danny Ainge is a finesse already. He's gonna try to get everything from out of you, just like how he did Brooklyn.
And so you're proving exactly my point. You're proving exactly my point. That wasn't the move to make, man, because at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, man, don't get it twisted. At the end of the day, Danny Ainge is green and white. He might be out there with Utah, but that guy is a Boston Celtic to the heart. And I saw they
I don't know why they let him go.
The guy only made one trade with the Knicks in 16 or 18 seasons. Only one move with the New York Knicks. I don't blame him. I ain't trying to help the Knicks. That thing run deep, man.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'll tell you this. I like the team the way it is, but at the end of the day, if we're gonna contend for a championship, we need a star. Bottom line, like this little deep thing that's kind of spread out. You know, unless you're gonna become the Detroit Pistons, you know, and those guys were playing at a pretty high level, the chances are low. You look at these playoff teams right now. They got somebody that at the end of the game can close.
Hey, Steph, I got this to say to you today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talk about that small forward position as a problem. And Steph, you know where I'm going with this. You heard me say it today. You know what's the move for the New York Knicks to do in the offseason? Mm-hmm. This guy is going to be an unrestricted free agent. Because somehow I think we still going to be talking about this small forward position at the end of the season, the way it's looking. Because that's not addressed. I truly believe the move is to go get Jalen Brown from Boston. He's going to be unrestricted. And you know he's a little salty. And I'm going to share this with you too. He's a little salty behind the situation with Boston. He's salty about that. And there's a good guy. There's a good
Durant trade,
Yeah, there's a good friend of mine right now that I know personally that went to school with him in high school. And he told me, he said, Ron, look here. He said, Jalen Brown, what y'all seeing right now, Jalen Brown always was that dude. And that guy would be an impact player on this Knicks team. You put him on this team.
They're going to extend him?
He's unrestricted. So he can go test the market.
I mean, he can accept an extension before
he could. He could, but think about the mess they got floating around right now. Right now, it's reported that the coach, they're not going to get in his way if he's trying to seek other employment. So that's something to watch over there. You know what I mean? That's something to watch, to keep our eyes on during the season.
Yeah. Well, listen, I would love to have Jalen Brown, but even with the mess over there, they still in a better place than the Knicks. I mean, in all honesty, you know, they still in the Knicks. But if he wants to come over and try, and he's real pissed off with them, and he want to try his hand over here, we'll take him.
Absolutely.
But we don't have the money either, so it'll have to be a trade. We don't have the money.
I was just about to say that's going to be interesting because I have RJ, him, Randle, and JB for people that needs the ball.
But you know,
I mean,
Jalen can play without the basketball. Jalen is not ball dominant. He's not ball dominant.
Yeah. But and Randall may or may not be here. But anyway, we don't have the money to sign him. It would have to be a sign and trade.
They'll create something. We got them picks, and by the end of the season, they can make moves. Teams always figure out a way to do things, even if it's getting a third or fourth team involved. They can be creative. because I sure didn't see.
But you're gonna wait. Well, hold up. You're gonna attach first round picks to get rid of salary.
I'm gonna tell you right.
Nah, that's.
Hey, for what Jalen Brown would bring to this team, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna explore every avenue and see which one make the most sense to get that guy over here. The same way Jalen Brunson solved our point guard position. Ain't a question in our mind. Ain't nobody in the chat in the Knicks universe would say Jalen Brown wouldn't solve our problems. See, the problem with that Donovan Mitchell stuff, that wasn't really a need. That was a want. That wasn't.
It depends. If you think in position, it was a want. But I'm not thinking position when I'm thinking about stars. And you can argue whether he's a star or not.
I got you.
We need a closer, regardless of position. We need somebody that you can put the ball in their hands at the end of the game and say, we need you to close it out. I don't think that matters what position. If we can get it at the small forward, great.
So you don't think on this team right now?
No. Well, maybe Brunson will be that.
I think Brunson is that closer. I think
he's going to see. We will see. I mean, if I had to put money on it, I would put my money on him.
Just looking at what he did in the playoffs and his resume from college, I think Brunson right now is somebody I'll trust to take that last shot. Any big shot, I trust him before I trust Julius.
Oh yeah. No, there's no doubt about it.
Of course.
Listen.
Or even RJ, I'll trust him to take that shot before either one of those guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But those other guys better be decent enough to take some pressure off of him so that they can't load up on him.
Hey, Steph, I'm gonna tell you what I'm interested to watch this year. Mm-hmm. Our free throw percentage better go up.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
Percentage was terrible last year as a team.
Yeah. A lot. Listen, we're all giddy right now. We might be in here next week after that Brunson game. After that Pacer game, talking a different story. We shall see. We look good, but we look good that first game against Boston too. Last season. I'm hoping that what we see is something that will continue throughout the rest of preseason and throughout the rest of the season. That faster paced ball movement, player movement. But everybody in the chat laughing because I said 3 minutes. You're right.
I told you, I told you he was too good to come up here at the end of the show. Yo.
Yeah. That we weren't gonna be. Yeah.
No way.
Anyway, I appreciate you, Ron Cleveland. Definitely come back and join us. Usually on Tuesdays, we might be moving into third. I'll put it out because the Knicks play a lot of games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Actually, so we may be moving to Thursdays. All right. Tsunami, you want to shout out your channel? I'll put it in the link as well. Jarrell, you want to shout out your channel as well?
Yeah, sure. So I have a channel called Tsunami Speaks, in which I have 2 separate playlists. One is just for Jets recaps, Jets previews, and I do have a playlist about the Knicks and just what I'm seeing from game to game. I'm not gonna do a video every game or anything like that, but probably 2 videos a week or something like that. And come join me. It's fun. I talk about the Knicks and the Jets. Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you this weekend.
The Dolphins ain't winning this game, bro. Don't even go there, Ron. You don't even go there, Ron. Tua is out, and Bridges ain't doing nothing. We don't
need Tua to beat them Jets, man. Hey,
Teddy
Bridgewater gonna put it on y'all.
Did you see the injury report?
Teddy Bridgewater gonna put it on you.
All your corners are gonna be out.
Hey, that's okay. We don't need them. Hey, Teddy Bridgewater will be able to take care of y'all. Y'all ain't gonna have no answer for them 2 Jets we got. Them 2 Jets we got on our field. Tyreek and Waddle.
Teddy has the arm to get the ball to.
Teddy got Teddy arm stronger than Tua.
Tsunami, let him talk. Let him talk.
We gonna take y'all up. Y'all knew y'all going down, man.
Let him talk.
So you a Knicks fan and a Dolphins fan? How'd that happen?
Yeah,
he's a Dolphins fan.
I grew up in South Carolina. and I was a Dolphins fan before the team Carolina even got in their inception. People ask me that question, how you became, you know what I mean? And I became a Knicks fan right before I left home. You know what I mean? I ended up getting stationed in the Army in upstate New York. But I was a Patrick Ewing fan, and when he got drafted by the Knicks and I was coming to upstate New York, it was like, a no-brainer. No-brainer. I was gonna follow Patrick, the big cap, big Pat. You know what I mean? So
Georgetown.
Yeah, with them fly Nikes.
All right. We out here. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk. I'll be doing the morning recap show after every Knicks game around 8:00 in the morning. I did my first one this morning. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. And I'll make the announcement if we're moving to Thursdays, and then don't forget Monday. So when I do the morning recap, that's the individual show. But on the Queen's Court, that's when I have a panel, and we'll be going over the entire week of Knicks games, and that's over at Nothing But Knicks MBK. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe there as well. And we are out of here. Shout out to Jay Boogie.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.